Okay, folks, what a way to welcome you to another edition of the program Spoon Talk. We're here tonight. We're live on Spoon 107.5 FM, Fabric 101.1 FM, and Super 95.5 FM. Spoon Talk is live online, Spoon TV Live, Fabric TV Live, and also Super TV Live, and on YouTube at Spoon Talk Live. Welcome to Liberia's premier talk show on radio and online. My name is Nelson Collier. Of course, let me welcome now Dr. Richardson tonight on the program. Let me say good evening to you, Dr. Richardson.
Nelson, how are you doing?
Yes, I'm doing fine. I'm good,
good.
And good to see you. How are you too, Dr. Richardson?
It's been a challenging morning, a little busy, recuperating from my traveling over the weekends. It's a little cloudy, about to rain on this end, but all is well. We are thankful to be here today. I thank God for another day, and all is well. How was your day today, Nelson?
Yeah, my day was also good. I spent the entire day here. I spent the entire day at office.
Working. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but my day
Yes.
was good, and as usual,
Mm-hmm.
as part of what's happening now in Liberia is that we don't have sunny weather that much here. I don't know about
Mm-hmm.
other parts of the country. Maybe for those in um rural Liberia or other counties, but for here,
Mm-hmm.
Montserrat County, it's been cloudy, cloudy, cloudy. Some people complaining about cold.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, my kind of weather is the heat, so I don't know about the cold in Liberia. I'm glad that you there. I'm glad that you. I'm glad that you deal with the cold in Liberia. I'm not. But what's going on in Liberia?
Okay, so Dr. Richardson, lots of things happening in the country. So they of recent, most of the discussions have been around the Councillor Gloria Mususka case. Yes, but
Mm-hmm.
gradually, the discussion is shifting to something else. But the most recent uh update we got from that case was the the issue that has to do with pushing the case to the May term of court before going into it, and that particular update came up right after a group of Marylanders headed by uh, a former Senator John Balut
Mm-hmm.
had a press conference calling on the government to
Mm-hmm.
fast track the case or to carry on a speedy trial, if you may, and that happened, and then in no time, the next update came up with the hearing being pushed to the August term of court, and yeah, some see it as something that goes contrary to the call from the Marylanders who were calling for speedy trial in the case, while others from the legal background see it as something that's just expedient in keeping with the law as well. So yes, the discussion is gradually subsiding on that. I think it's getting to a point where more of legal attention is being given to it now than uh, some of the discussions we had. But coming to where we are,
Mm-hmm.
um, the legislature today enacted the amended Controlled Drugs and Substance Act of 2023, known as the Drug Law. Uh, and so it's now before the president for signature. Yeah. So
Uh,
and and
um,
and
Nelson, do we know what does the law entails? The drug law. I'm just curious to hear. I'm sure you probably don't know. They probably have to release that information to us, but or maybe you do know. but I'm just curious to know what it says about the drug law.
Okay, so according to what we have now,
Mm-hmm.
the senators and other lawmakers may have full detail on this, but according
Mm-hmm.
to what we've gathered, this law is going to is going to make it non-billable for two group of people, for the drug importers, people
Mm-hmm.
who are importing drugs into the country. When they are caught, it's going to be a non-billable offense now, as
Mm-hmm.
compared to what we had in time past, when people will be caught and then they go to court, there's a bill, and then they go out. So it's going to be non-billable for importers and also for distributors.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
it's going to
Okay.
be non-billable
That's a great
distributors. And
start. I hope that it has some component of the mental health consequences of using drugs, like if, for example, maybe expanding more training of mental health specialists
Mhm.
for people who are using drugs. That would be great. Looking at creating more rehab centers for them. Something like I believe the senator opened one center, and perhaps I think youth and sports have mentioned that they're working on that as well. But just a mental health component about uh, in this country, there's something sometimes when people who use drugs, we have
Mhm.
involuntary commitment, because when you are using drugs, you're not in the right state of mind to sign your consent to treatment. So we have a special law court, drug court, where it's a court for mental health issues. But many people who go there are the people who utilize drugs, and then they have a judge who actually tell them you will be committed because you can't consent yourself to treatment. Well, each state have different laws, but this is the law I'm familiar with. And so, because when you're under the influence, you in an altered state of mind, you can't realistically commit yourself to treatment. And many people who want drugs do not want to commit themselves to treatment because they rather crave and get satisfaction from the drug. So it would be good if they had included some kind of mental health court or drug court where people can go in and a judge can order treatment. That means you have to get treatment for 30 days. You cannot be released. You'll be kept in a treatment center, perhaps against your will.
Yeah, and but as it stands, so the Senate just passed on that today. So we're gonna be getting more details on that. What's enshrined in that, but those are just the two major ones captured for now. Um, I want to believe that there are other other segments of that law that will capture other things other than what we just mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, but why this is happening? The Liberia Drugs Enforcement Agency uh, uh burned thousands of United States dollars worth of narcotic drugs in Greenville, that's in Sinoe County, and yes, that was it just happened, just in line with this law that was passed today as well. So all is happening in as part of the observance, international observance on drug and substance abuse that Liberia is joining the rest of the world to observe. So yes, the Liberia Drugs Enforcement Agency did that today, talking about the burning of uh, thousands of United States dollars worth of drugs in Sinoe County, Greenville.
Mm-hmm.
So on the flip side, there has been information circulating from social media. Some media institutions have been carrying that as well, about the vice presidential candidate to Ambassador Boakai being denied visa at the U.S. embassy by the United States embassy near Monrovia. Well, he spoke to that. He said it's not true. At no time was he denied a visa, as it's being reported by some media institutions or speculated on the social media. So Senator Kuhn says no, he was not denied visa, contrary to what uh, has been said about him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and still on that, now there was a situation today. There was a situation reported here about a man. Um, his name is Stephen Riley. Stephen Riley has accused a local medical, let's say a local clinic, a local health facility, um, for allegedly killing his 23-year-old daughter,
Oh my goodness.
identified as Cecilia Riley. And according to him, his daughter had a little bit of fever, and she decided to visit the that local health facility, and then um, drugs were prescribed. She was given an injection, after which she then started to converse. And then there was no one around. Right after giving her the medication, there was no one around. And then she subsequently passed in no time. And so he's now blaming the health facility for the death of his daughter.
Wow.
Uh, According to him, it was due to the medication that they gave to her. And he said that the health facility has been apologizing to him, but what has not happened is that they've not taken responsibility for the death of his daughter, his 23-year-old daughter. They've not taken responsibility of that. And so this is something that we are still following. This is a development we're following to be able to speak to the health facility as well to get their own side of this particular development.
Mhm.
Yeah, so
Wow.
that's
That is
yeah.
scary. We're talking about the healthcare system in Liberia yesterday. Just imagine, a 22-year-old child. I could say a child, but a daughter is an adult because I'm a mother of people who are 20 something years old. They will always remain children to me. But if
Mm-hmm.
you're just going to go take your child for help, whether, she had an illness that was beyond the treatment capacity of the clinic or not, but she died there. That says a lot about our healthcare system. We'll never know what happened to her, what kind of drug they gave her. Like you said, they are apologizing, but they are not telling him, perhaps
Mm-hmm.
the cause of death of his daughter, or what did they do, or what they didn't do. It's sad, and again, this is young people we're losing. When interesting, when I was growing up, my parents always used to say, like, young people are supposed to bury their older people. They're
Mm-hmm.
supposed to bury your parents. But nowadays we see that in our country, increasing our young people are just succumbing to death for different reasons. So it's sad. It's very sad.
And what is even concerning about this is that
Hmm.
this incident occurred not in the rural part of the country, like someone would say, maybe in Sinoe, in
Hmm.
Grand there, and some of those faraway counties, but
Hmm.
it happened right in the suburb of Monrovia, in the somewhere called the FDA community.
Hmm.
It's just about an hour drive from central Monrovia.
Wow.
So it happened right in Montserrat County here.
Yeah.
But
That's
I'm withholding the name of the health facility because we're trying to get their own side before we can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And likewise, you mentioned a few things already. I sort of am making a conscious effort to not speak about Madame Gloria Mususcat's case, because I want the justice system to work. I want to hear what they have to say, and I think you just mentioned here they have said that the case will go to trial in the
Mm.
August in the August session. I think that's what you said. So we'll wait and see what happened and how this unfolds. I see that the former, Marylander politician, public servant John Bellew has been basically acting as the conscience of our country. He was there calling for Buckeye and Cummings to unite so he was there. He's the same person now calling for the justice system to work speedily against the backdrop of Marylander saying that they were going to support George. Yeah, I think just a couple of days ago, a week ago, the
Yeah.
Maryland went to support CDC and endorse CDC. So now we have another set of Marylander that's asking for a speedy trial of Madame Gloria Mususcat. And I also thought that the timing just didn't seem appropriate to me for Marylander to be endorsing CDC, given the fact that a prominent citizen from Maryland was going through this legal battle, this legal problem. But again, some people can argue that it was all planned. Even when something is planned, you got to look at the optics of it, the political optics of
Mhm.
it. And so I think for me, and I would say that today, I would say that tomorrow, I think they could have adjusted the timing a little bit given the legal challenges that we are going through in our country. The drug situation, I think, is really interesting. That they were so they drove all of the drugs to gathered into Sinoe County, or was the drugs already in Sinoe County?
In Greenville, yeah, you were saying, you
Yeah,
said
I was.
they
They
drove.
drove. They collected all the drugs from Monserrato and all the other places and drove to Sinoe County. Or the drugs that they found were already drugs that they found in that region of the country.
Okay, so what we've gathered is that the drug they burn
Hmm.
in Sinoe County is drug that they confiscated in that region. Yeah,
Oh,
not from
that's a
Sinoe
lot
County.
of drugs in for that
Yeah.
region. Wow, thousands. I think we did get yeah, that's a lot of drugs for that region. A side note, Sano County was in the news because I believe there's a place called Mississippi Sano County that was probably named after Mississippi in the United States. There was a portion of American Liberians that went and settled in Sano County, Liberia. I think I saw that in the Daily Observer. And now historian in the state of Mississippi, USA, are looking at the ties between Sano County and people that left the state of Mississippi. So I think that's really interesting. Um, well, yeah, yeah. Well, we'll see. We
Yeah.
got a lot of the panelists, a lot of conversation for the panelists to speak about. I know you got other things on your list, but I just want to announce that we have Madame Kroma going to be coming into the studio today to announce her vice presidential candidate. So she's going to be coming in at 9 o'clock today, which will be 5 o'clock our time here. So make sure that you join us to hear her announcements and her vision or their vision. She and her vice standard bearer uh, goals and passion for Liberia, their vision for Liberia. Tomorrow we're going to have Mr. Morris will be coming on. He's a presidential aspirant. He's going to be coming on to the show to tell us again his aspiration and goals. If you are a politician out there running for a legislative office or a presidential office, um, please come to Spoon, basically to let the world know your thoughts and vision for Liberia. We'll be here asking you some good questions and letting Liberian people be informed about how you intend to make our country a more deserving place in the words of Mr. Alexander Cummings. I want to give him credit for that word of deserving Liberia. Nelson, go ahead. I'm sorry that I interrupted you. I just wanted to get the announcement out before I forget.
Yeah. So today uh our president
Hmm.
congratulated, not too long, congratulated the incumbent president of neighboring Sierra Leone. They had their election on Saturday,
The
and
neighboring Syria.
official. Wow.
No, go ahead. It was me. It was me. It was me.
Okay, okay.
Yes.
So some of the official figures coming out from that election has it that the incumbent president has obtained 56% of the vote. And so President George Weah, not too long today, congratulated the president of Sierra Leone, and also appreciating the people for the peaceful conduct during this process.
Yes, we'll be discussing that when the panelists join me. Um, what does the election of uh, president, I think we can say now, president-elect Bill, what does that mean for Liberia? You know, what are the pros and cons of having him, an incumbent, being re-elected to serve as president for Sierra Leone? What does it mean to Liberia? That will be a topic we'll be discussing today, prior to our guests coming in when the panelists roll in. Well, yes, a few things, but you know, Sierra Leone, a small country like Liberia, is one of the oldest too in the West African
Mm-hmm.
region. You know, Bio ran against Kamara, and this is the second time running against each other. Some I don't know. I wrote down that they ran in. Let's see, they ran against each other in 2018. They ran against each other, and Bio won that time. But he seemed to be popular. Many will say he's popular because he was in the military and was part of the military leaders that um, brought Sierra Leone to some kind of peaceful military agreement where you know they had the military ruling the country for a little bit. He handed the government over to this guy, the Kaba, and then came to the United States to study to improve his understanding of world politics. So he came to the United States and to study, and then went back. Another tidbit I learned about Bill: he's the 33rd of 35 children. Can you imagine having 35 children?
Wow.
Yes. So he comes from a large family, and he credits his mother. Yes. He credits his mother for her hard work, for her belief in God. He's a staunch Catholic person. So he seems to be God fearing, and he seems to be a strong person, have a lot of interest in education. He started an education initiative in his country. So there's a lot of things about, you know, he was a teacher before, basically. You know, so you know how it is when you're a teacher, you get to impact a lot of people, and then he went into the military. So a lot of good history back there. So we'll be doing some comparative analysis between his life experience versus our president's life experience, and what it means for him to have been elected for Liberia, because we have very similar past and pattern with the Sierra Leoneans in the region. So I would say we kind of like the closest among others in the region. Not, I mean,
Yeah.
we share a common border, but we also very close past in terms of the foundation of Sierra Leone. Though they're a British colony, but some people might say, and I think history tells us that when the free slaves went to find Liberia, they landed on the shores of Sierra Leone before moving over to Liberia. So there's a lot of intricate relationship that we have with the Sierra Leoneans. Yeah. So anything else, Nelson?
Yeah. So that's it for now, Dr. Richardson, with respect to the training issues. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm going to turn over. It's about 4:30. We await our panelists to come in. As you probably know, they are going to be rolling in. Some of them are, you know, at work, and they come right here to be a service, to provide service to Liberians. So they're coming in from work, and also we're going to wait for our guest speaker who is going to be joining us at 5 o'clock today. That will be 9 o'clock Liberia's time. It's 5 o'clock in the USA time. So let me just welcome some of my family people as Mr. Fagon and other people. There's some of the other panelists that how they can tease me. You can say I welcome my fellow panel people. In fact, Mr. Jerry Gibson, Jerry is here. He's going to help me welcome my family people to the program. I want to actually welcome all of you who are watching Spoon Network right now, Spoon Talk. You know that this is your station. This is the place where you come to get a diverse views on a particular subject. We come here and we kind of give you our thoughts on what is happening in our country, what is happening with the trending issues, and it's up to you. We want you to filter the information and be more informed about what is going on in your country. everybody that you see on this set are sacrificing their time because of love of country, because of what they want Liberia to be a better place. You may agree with us and you may not agree with us, but that is the beauty of democracy. Democracy is not, we're not supposed to be on the same page all the time, but we're supposed to tolerate each other, and learn from each other, and reflect upon what we hear. So thank you for joining us. Call a friend, share the show, um, be a part of commentating, in the comment section. So I'm going to just begin. Mr. Jeru, can you just start maybe welcoming 10 persons, and then I will take it over as other role.
Absolutely, absolutely. We want to say thanks to all of you that have
Okay.
come here to view this program,
Sorry,
to watch us, to listen to
Justin, were
us.
you going to say something?
We're
No,
very
he
much
wasn't on.
Oh,
He
okay.
wasn't. He wasn't on. Yeah, I just brought him on.
Okay, good, good. Go ahead, Mr. Jerry.
okay. So I want to say thanks to those of you who will continue to come here. We appreciate you being here all the time. I want to say welcome to Child Soldier Children, uh, Child Soldier Son. We are thinking he can play on the Liberian people. And Arrow Dupop say he was in Liberia during the war. Samuel S. Faconia says, good evening, Spoon family. I am watching from Mount Barclay community. Wow, that's Mount Barclay. I had some kind of thing going there before. And when you say Mount Barclay, I really remember what's going on down there. And just we come to Tom S. Benson said, don't compare Bill to Weir. Weir is nowhere to Bill. That's a strong statement that coming from Tom and Pastor James Quay. So who did not do development in his or her country? It's a comparison between Weir and Bill. So Robin Pastor Dige, Bill there, Mayon says he is following us all the show. And I want to say, Abington Ben, good evening. He says, Spoon family, I am joining you from Minnesota. Oh, yeah, right here by me, huh? Welcome to the program. And Bobby Ben said, I am watching from 9th Street. You know what? 9th Street. That place is congested these days. And I want to turn it back to Dr. Richardson.
Thank you so much. I want to give a special hello to Marjorie. Marjorie is watching Follette. Thank you very much. I believe also a special friend, sister friend of mine, Aquila Jeans, is also watching. So thank you. I saw that both of them just said hello, Dr. Richardson. Hello. Actually, they call me Francine Special. Don't put no. They're my friends, so we don't have a professional relationship. They call me Francine, but my first name. Um, I also want to say a special hello to Musu Thumb. I see that you're working. Musu is my late mother's very good friend, Musu Thumb. She's an avid watcher of Spoon. It's amazing that I get to see her name here. Um, it's such an amazing person. Spent a lot of time with my mother during the war. They were together trying to provide food to people on our farm. So I have a special place in my heart. Actually, I'm gonna put you on blast a little bit. Musu studied I don't embalming. That's the best word I can think about it. That's what she does here. She, like, people who are dead. She works with the embalmers to embalm people, and she embalmed my mother. And I remember thinking how she did that. She did my mother very beautifully, but she was actually fussing with my mother. She told me when she was doing the embalming, and when we went to go and to see her body, she was like telling her all this talking. She was actually talking to my mother, and I kept on looking at her and saying, "How can she do this? How can she have such a good relationship with somebody who?" Of course, I wasn't in the mood to hear all of that, but I just want to tell you that you have a special place in my heart. You're the last person to touch my mom and give her the decent preparation for her death. So thank you, Musutam. I'm also going to say hello to David Loy. He's watching from compound number 3, Grand Bassa County. I want to say Eddie Sami, hello to you as well. Elizabeth Katamba is watching from Staten Island, New York. Thank you very much for joining us. James Sankali is watching from Charlotte, North Carolina. Sarah Smith, she says, "Hi, Doc. I'm watching from Rhode Island. How are you doing, sis?" I'm very well, Sarah. Thank you for asking. It's great when I have sisters like you who follow the show and are very concerned and about me. Thank you. You know, it's not easy being a woman in this field. So thank you very much. Um, let me see. Eddie B. Sami, thank you for joining us. Moses Kamara is watching from Pennsylvania. Thank you for joining us. Norma Dennis is also watching from Philadelphia. Thank you for joining us. Prince Cooper is watching from Harbel. Thank you. Rubina Fameta Louis Vincent. Rubina is also a childhood friend of mine. I'm not going to tell you our story, but she's from Bon Mines. So thank you for joining us, Rubina. Love you, love you, love you. Jerry G. Baywolo is from Dixville. He's watching Dixville. Thank you for joining us. Let me just see. I'm actually got two devices on, so I'm going to both of them. Samuel Charles Smith Kawa is also watching. Um, Thank you for joining us. Prince A. Moulton is from Minnesota. He's watching us as well. Thank you for coming in. I'm just going to welcome you as we wait for our other panelists to roll in because we have a show to do today. We are going to be talking about the election of President Bill. He's been declared the victorious in the election. We're going to be talking about what it means for Liberia, what is his election means for Liberia. And we also have a guest speaker, Madame Kroma, is going to be coming to the show to announce her vice presidential pick on the show, and we'll be asking them some questions to, bring more information to you Liberians out there. Yvonne Gawe, she says, "Good evening, Spoon family." Yvonne, hello, how are you? Kenneth Ise Molu is watching from Chicken Soup Factory. We're talking, I don't know, Nelson, if it was you and I were talking about doing a little like historical write-up about how we name places in Liberia, like the chicken soup factory.
Yeah.
Conga Town. What is Conga Town? How did that come about? So it wasn't you, Nelson, that we're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting. I think somebody said compound number 3 from uh, compound number 3 from Buchanan or Basel. How did it become compound number 3? It'll be interesting to find out. Hold on, somebody was just texting me here. Let me just see what it's saying. Oh, okay. I also want to remind people, someone, a friend of mine just asked me to please announce that Mr. Cummins and his vice standard bearer will be in Philadelphia this coming weekend. They will be here attending the CPP convention. So I will encourage all of you that are in the tri-state area, New Jersey, New York is a little bit further, but you can still come to ask Mr. Cummings questions or to get some good information about his plan for Liberia. If you're in the Delaware area, Maryland area, you're in the Pennsylvania area, they are all just driving distance for you to come here. I expect to have a very full hall. So please join us to support the vision of Mr. Cummings. And I see CEO just came in and he's bending his head down. I don't know, because I'm not talking about a unity party or whatever.
Kipsy, go ahead, give your own announcement too. When Gonglo is coming here too, get your own announcement. It's announcement free time.
On the
It's
8th of
announcement free
July,
time.
on the 8th of July, Gonglo is going to be unveiling the vice presidential candidate in Bon County. And because of that, I have bought my ticket. I will be in Bon County, Bon County on the 8th.
Oh, it's like Gibson, so you're leaving us, you're not going to be here?
I will be live with you wherever I am. I will use my laptop.
You'll be Liberia?
I'll be in Liberia.
Yeah,
but let me do a few more
yes,
of these
webcams. Please help me out.
Louis Smith say, "I am watching from the port state of Buchanan." Thank you very much, Buchanan. It's my lovely city. I used to report for that for Star Radio. Abraham Bokari. Good evening to the Spoon FM family. I join you from the single 16th Street. 16th Street, I know that player very well. And Masaki says, Jeru is barren of substantive argument. He is a loose cannon. Hey, Masaki is saying that my brain is completely empty. There's nothing there to argue anything. I am barren. I cannot produce anything. And this one, Abraham Abu Johnson said, hello from Fennel University Liberia campus, Kagata Highway, Liberia, West Africa.
Wait. I'm begging Jerry, I beg you. Somebody making me fat. That's what Richard said. I said, though it's on my cell phone telling me, Maria Bio won first round. So CDC will win first round. I said, though. I said, minister, I said, though scared. He said, Samuel Tuato, you know to come on spoon, or else he will lose his job. So therefore, he calling my cell phone and telling me, say, Maria Bio won first round, one round. And that's it. So it means job we are. You know that Madame Bio received a compound money? You know that I said though? The job we are receiving a compound money? You want to I said though?
What is it? Money?
The job we are receiving the money from the compound? But don't start up. The job we are receiving the money from her compound. It takes years. Let's go ahead. Let's check. Now you're scared to come. Because Samuel tried to tell you not to come. You will lose your deputy minister job if you can. But I will say this to you, minister. I said though, there is no comparison. Bio won't become Bio deliver for the people of Sierra Leone. Has Joe delivered for the people of Sierra Leone?
I agree with you.
But when you talking Tabata, yeah. When you talking Tabata?
Delivered bag of rice at $24.
Joe Manan, we are president of Liberia. Have he delivered for the people of Sierra Leone? What's the comparison you want to make?
24 is one of the things.
Brother. Minister.
Let him come on the show.
The man scared come on. Even that thing, the man on the phone, Samuel will suspend him. Samuel will suspend the man because you're on the phone right now. Oh, Samuel put all of your own choke neck. You put all of your own choke neck. You don't count on spoon. Then you won't count touch Jade. What Bio did for his country? Is that what you're telling us?
Can we go step by step?
No, we will only go step by step. If you get all of your cowardness and appear on spoon for us to have that argument, we will only go step by step.
Stop.
We will don't do south. Don't do south. There is no south yet. You are not under the sycamore tree.
No.
No south.
No. I'm not a sycamore tree.
I said though. The people say you want to argue, come on. Don't hide your face and throw the stone. The people say you want to argue, come on. You talking Tabata. The man won election, his re-election. He won it. He won his re-election.
He crying, he weeping.
What? Oh, that gives you. That gives you put your mouth on, huh? Gives you the message you cry, yo. Oh. Remember, we got to show the rumba. I said do. I said do. We want to have a show. If you're ready to talk, you're put forward. And you say you're the best politician, say 1847. And you get the best government, say 1847. You're put forward. Tabata, I'm gonna have our show, man. The men want to talk sweet talk in the corner. Dr. Richardson, sorry to interrupt you and my brother Jerry. When they got him, I said, who is my friend? He will talk secret talk in the corner. Can say we will win because Sierra Leone, the president, won the first round. That's it. I challenge Joe Manan. We are president won first round. Where? You know how the men deliver for the people of Sierra Leone? Where were you, I said, though, when the man won his compound money? 3.something million dollars. You and Samuel get Tabata tour up to now, Joe, I can win compound money. Where were you? All the grant they gave them, the people that enjoy it. And with that suffering in our country. Then you won't can't talk Tabata talk. I mean, I have our show, man. The man up on me in Zigo. Dr. Richardson, how you doing? Yeah, man, Daniel Sano. My own man, he will call me every evening. My man, we won't come, but Samuel Twelve say if we can, he will not pay up. Whether you can, now Samuel Twelve not pay you almost 6 months. You on grand. Vlah. Then you want to say we won't come. You won't come where? I dare you can. Samuel Twelve will fire you. My man, let's introduce her. Dr. Richardson, when I hear you.
Taro, I'm on mute. I want to just also, welcome you, Stephen, to the show. I want to welcome Daniel Sano to the show.
Now, what you welcome me to the show for? I know that I need welcome to the show, Dr. Richardson.
Okay,
Dr. Richardson, I'm in Zico, man. Don't welcome me.
Come on, go ahead. Go ahead.
You welcoming me. Daniel Sano. There's one thing that the American left. No, that American left here. That pure Glen time. Don't welcome me. I said, don't that make me fair. Can you imagine? I said, don't want to compare the election in Sierra Leone to that of Liberia. Let's look at the track records. Let's go back. Let's look at the track record. Let's see where Bio took the country from and where the country is now. He had only 4 years. Joey has 6. Bio got 4. He delivered for the people. We gave Joey additional 2. Then what happened? Every day he talking Tabata. Since 1847, best government. Best government, people die in the hospital. Best government, no LDC. Best government, LDC attend to Christmas light. You come on every Christmas day. That best government there. Man, y'all stop that thing, man. They don't do this thing to us. But that originally, I've been off for what, 2 days now or 3 days? How many days I've been off for?
I know, boy. It's been a while.
Any citizen can talk about Bio election. We'll bring that in the studio and deal with them accordingly. I heard Samuel Jackson talking my own papa Samuel Jackson. Congratulations to him, he got married after 1,600 years. Congrats to Samuel Jackson. But my own papa, he said he will come chastise Jerome Gibson. He will come after Mo Ali. He will come after Councillor Pakor. Why you're scared? Papa, have a safe trip on your way back to Liberia. But when you want to talk, we here. This is the People Radio Station. We ain't shy on anything. We're not running away. Y'all facing us. This election, y'all facing us.
I don't even know why he pointed at us. I don't know why he pointed at us.
The message y'all celebrating because y'all got 11 points. So y'all say your second place, y'all celebrating. He want to talk about barrow. Your cup draw we are barrow medicine. That's what all the road bad because you start a barrow medicine, man.
Samuel Jackson, who was denigrating George Weah for when he went to Monrovia and they didn't receive him.
I mean, that man hustle. Leave that one.
Off on the side.
But welcome everybody, folks. Let's welcome you. It's going to be a very hot conversation tonight. We're receiving information. We'll read it to you guys. There's some zebra unit from CDC. They say, you know what? We will go and throw petrol bomb on Spoon Compound because we want to burn the radio station down. Let me say this to you guys. CDC got 99.9% of the airwave. Yet and still, you're crying behind the one. You got 10 sheep. They may get only 1 baby lamb. And you're leaving your 10 to go for that one. Does that make sense? You fighting Fagon. You fighting Stanton. You fighting Dr. Richardson. When you get millions of people out there talking for you, you get it. Samuel Jackson. The acid do. No. Ketamani, my friend. We're not called Ketamani. Ketamani, my friend. We're not called Ketamani. But I'll just call your name because I know he will call me. You got other people that are talking for you. But just a small, teeny radio station, you're crying. Because we are saying the truth. This is the Liberian People Network. This is public network for Liberia, public radio station. That you come and you speak your mind and you go home quietly. So you want to say, oh, people, they say they will burn it, we'll do this. Come on, guys. Come on. This election, it will come and go, but we will stay and we will speak truth to power. Joel win election, again, we still go behind him. Bwaga win election, we will hold a feet to the fire. Cummings win election, we will beat on Cummings. Because the fact remains is that this election, 6 more years. How old you'll be, Daniel Sano? Guess how old you going to be? I'm not going to ask Dr. Richardson. She would tell me, say, I'm talking about the woman age. But imagine adding 6 more years to your age.
I'll be
Come on,
61.
man. Honor this government.
6 years from now will be 41.
There you go. And you are telling us that you will go after the network because all what you do is
my age.
I say you guys are babies.
And you know, but we folks, we want to say to you, there's a reason why Bill won his election, and we're talking. There's a reason. If you're a sedition, you like being a sedition, thank God for you. If you're opposition, you want to be opposition, thank God for you. But the Bible says you cannot serve two masters at the same time. You cannot be CDC and opposition at the same time. We got a lot of people being CDC and opposition at the same time. Decide, my friend. 10 months to go. We will say the truth, nothing but the truth, so help us, oh God. I want to say, invite your brothers and sisters. It's going to be very, very interesting tonight. You want to hear about the drugs issue? Whether the president knew those guys? Maybe if I go ran ahead, he showed the picture. He always show the picture. So we're going to, Dr. Richardson now text me. She says, just do the show. Thank you, Dr. Can you say it loudly? Because I don't want the Gonglo boss then to get very with me.
We're going to co-moderate today.
Oh, you co-moderate because you want to overcome me, so she said co-moderate.
At 4:52, we got a guest coming in.
What time?
At 5 o'clock, which should be 9 o'clock Morovia time. We have Madame Kroma coming in. And
who is Madame Kroma?
Madame Kroma is an independent candidate who's running to be president for Liberia. Presidential candidate.
Madame Kroma going to somebody, man. Madame Kroma come again.
That'll be a good question for you to talk to her about. So let her come in, and then we'll see her for an hour, and then she's gonna go. Then we can continue our conversation.
Let me welcome my brother Gibson, Mr. Jerry. Welcome to the show. I don't know what happened with your brother, one of your Gonglo brother, Councilor Pako. But welcome, my brother. How you doing?
I'm fine, thank you, Pastor Stanton. And we are always glad and honored to be here, and we hope that we can all help to make this talk show a very great one.
Jerry, they say you're sedition. They say you have CDC, have Gonglo. I just say what the people say, yo.
Well, let them go ahead.
No, let me ask a question, Jerry. Let me ask a question. Were you ever a sedition?
No. Let me tell you the story about...
No. Let me be the one to ask you. I don't know plenty story.
I am not.
You ever praise Josh? No. Hold on, my man. Everybody. Slow down. You ever praise George Manawia on Facebook?
Nope. I don't have any praises on George in all of my videos, all my broadcasts. None.
So you never, not in a teeny bit?
Nope. Nobody can find anything. They will check. They will not find anything because I don't do that.
Man, you my man. I ain't gonna hold you there. You're a sedition on the cover.
Let me tell you what happened here. In 2008, when I got to America, the first person that contacted me was Piso. Piso, who is a general minister now. She wanted me to join the CDC. I told her that I cannot join because I was a journalist and I want to remain like that. But meanwhile, since I have graphic design skills, I will be able to do their newsletters. I'll be able to help them to navigate. So they send their stories to me. I do the newsletters. I design stuff for them, flyer for them, and send it for them. So maybe that's why they think I am.
Are you being paid for that?
Oh, they don't pay. It's free.
Oh, okay.
It's free. Yeah, it's free. Nobody paid me. And if I was sedition, when somebody told us $18,000,
thank you. So thank you. Daniel Sano, welcome to the show. Are you a sedition? What's your party affiliation? The party you're supporting right now. Which party, Daniel? Sano?
Thank you for having me here today, Stanton. It's been a very...
Yes, sir.
Yes. Are you hearing me?
Loud and clear. Go ahead.
Thanks for having me here today. It's been a very basic weekend. We were in Rua Bassa, trying to navigate some of the inaccessible areas of our country before the campaign gets started. Center, my political identity in Liberia cannot be questioned. I have always been a Liberty partisan, and I had no intention to change that identity. For those who know me, for the last 15 years in Liberia, I've been actively engaged with the Liberty Party politics. So I have no identity crisis, and I'm Daniel Sando. So,
Thank you very much,
so
Daniel
those
Sando.
who are
Thank you, my brother. Let's see.
I just wanted to add.
Go ahead, boss.
I just wanted to add to the issue that you talk about the Sierra Leone election. You know, our brothers from the CDC are special kind of people. They are very special.
You say that in America, then they in the small yellow bus. So be careful. When you say special, they'll be in the small yellow bus. So be careful.
Yeah, because I have never seen no group of people with such sake, very poor at reasoning, and they are very delusional. Some of them think that a re-election for any government is automatic. And so we see them today trying to create a hype on social media about Marabio's re-election in Sierra Leone, and some of them saying that could be replicated in Liberia. They have not even read the records. I drove from Foya and I passed through Sierra Leone to come to Liberia. I was very proud of the developmental initiative of President Marabio. I'm not a Sierra Leonean, but stand on the roads that have been paved, super highway.
We'll come there. I was just asking for your intro.
So just by that alone,
we will come.
You can know that the government has been
we'll come to that.
Because road connectivity is very key.
I hope.
When I drove on that road,
Daniel.
I mean, we passed through Foya into Sierra Leone. When I drove on that road, when I reached the Bowater side,
we're having a connection issue with
because
Daniel.
once you reach a Bowater side,
Daniel, can you hear us? Can you hear us? You want to log out?
I just wanted to open to say that they are.
You want to log out and log back in?
They think differently. Yeah.
I hope you can hear us. If you log out and log back in, maybe it will be better. We're having a little delay. Now let me bring in our own Dr. for instance, Sinoe Richardson. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I think we're going to have a spirited conversation today with Madame Kroma, and then after that, we'll be talking about the election of President Bio in Sierra Leone and what it means for Liberia. So I think we'll have a good conversation. But I'm doing well.
Thank you very much, the only real doctor we have on the show. You guys heard that Gibson is a doctor too. I don't know how true it is. Let me bring in the counselor. Counselor Lami, double I, Pakal. How you doing, sir? We're not getting you, counselor. Maybe they need to unmute your mic. Counselor, we're not getting you. You got to unmute the counselor microphone. I'm seeing the guest in the back. I want the counselor on real quick before I bring Fagon. Because when he starts speaking, Fagon will interrupt him. We need no interruption. Nelson, can you unmute the counselor, please? All right, we'll come back to the counselor. Let me bring in Fagon. It looks like they're working on the counselor. Counselor, can you hear us? All right, we're not hearing you. So when Nelson ready, I see that we get the guest, Madame Kroma, and are we bringing somebody else? I see somebody else in the back.
Vice President. I believe she's going to make an announcement to us.
So let's see. Okay, okay, I can hear you, Counselor. Go ahead. Double I, la make call. Go ahead, sir.
So what's the question again? I didn't get that part.
No, I'm asking you for your what's on your mind tonight, briefly.
Basically the state of affairs in our country, the state of poverty that exists, and the need for us to do something about it by ensuring that in these elections we elect the best people who are not interested in personal wealth and who have an agenda to put the country back on course.
Thank you very much, my dear brother, Councilor Lame. Sorry, because the guest is in the back. I think you're in studio with her. We want to give her due time. because so we got to respect her. We'll get back to you, Councilor. Let me bring in Honorable Eugene Single R Fagon. Honorable Eugene.
Well, I don't even know how to start. A man born before the other man. Then you say, anyway, let's leave it. Because Dr. Francis.
I mean, we got one guessing it, but let's go ahead, but you got single R, don't get bad. They might get said double R.
I'll tell you what's on my mind. The Liberian people today, again, overwhelmingly, on almost every radio station, have called on the government of Liberia to trash the $65 million loan. And they gave several reasons. Chiefly amongst them was the fact that this government met a debt of $800 million. And they saw the stretch of road from Monrovia to Ganta, from Monrovia to Buchanan. They came and multiply it by 1.5. That is, they increased the debt from 800 million to about 2.3 billion dollars. That is an extra about 1 point what?
My man, that extra judicial killing right there, man. Call it back. Don't be afraid.
Yeah, and they don't have any tangible to show for it, especially to say we have one stretch of road. They cannot boast of the Lofa road because.
So you're thinking about road, Fagon. We got to bring in the guests. You're thinking about road. Is there anything else?
That's why I just wanted to conclude. You increase the debt by about $1.5 billion, and you have nothing tangible to show for it. And you are asking to borrow $65 million, which you will take 50 years to pay back. All of you will be dead. 73 of you that manufactured that 6G loan to the Senate will be contesting. You are looking for your elections money. And that's why the patriotic senators within the Senate now decided that, look, this is garbage. Our people have voted overwhelmingly. We don't even want to discuss it. Tell us, in fact, where you're getting it from.
Thank you very much.
What it's for.
And I know, and thank God we are bringing a presidential aspirant. We're going to ask her. We're going to hear from her. Again, this is interesting. We're going to have a wonderful conversation tonight. Our brother Gibson Jerry ran away because I say he's a sedition. I hope we can have him back. I was just kidding. We can also announce, folks. Let me start with this, Dr. Richard said. I'm receiving information. Councillor Tewon Say Gonglo is about to name his vice standard bearer. Councillor Lamy told us on Saturday he will be naming his vice standard bearer. But yes, this is interesting. The name of that person. Is it true to my Gonglo's brother that Dr. Emmanuel Yakpagro Ure is the name coming up? Can you deny or confirm?
That's very interesting. That's a great name. That's a great name.
I don't know who talking now. Who talking? The two Gonglo brothers. Y'all talk one at a time.
What happened?
The man will say that pedestrian statement I'm making again. Go ahead, tell me.
I said, not pedestrian. Don't drum the
We're not hearing you. We're not hearing you too clear.
I'm hearing you. He said you should.
Can you put the stuff? Can you put the stuff on your head?
It is very interesting to hear that name. You know, that name looks good.
All right, we're gonna throw it out there. That's the. But the man's name is Yakpagro. Yakpagro Kofu Gay.
I will tell you this much. The person that is going to be naming is a person who will be unmatched. I can tell you that much.
I heard the ground was shake for the other political party. They named that person the ground is shake. Yeah.
That's
No
what we
earthquake
saw.
so far. What happened for them, man? I heard the ground was shake. There will be earthquake. The road will be black. Nothing. Blah. Then you can't say there will be. Then you can't tell me say it will be unmatched. The ground shake where? Listen, I did ask my question. Let's move on, guys. If we're ready, I just want to say a couple of things, folks. It's very interesting. We have increased the security. I spoke to the CEO, Madame Kroma. She have increased the security at the network because of this information we are getting. As though deny it. You heard what he was saying. CDC is not a party that will carry such an ad. Well, when the CDCCOP and the Zebra unit in CDC, Zebra unit is headed by, what's the person name, Fagon?
We need to talk about this a little bit. It's a very major
PRF5.
issue. You are overlooking it, but it's a very major issue.
But one minute, Gibson. So the issue here is that these guys are threatening to petrol bomb the radio station, the compound. Okay. I spoke to some folks in government. They're saying they are looking into it, and they will make sure that it won't happen. But again, to our fellow Liberians, listen to us. Freedom of expression, freedom of speech. You say your own, the man say your own, don't get vexed. You have all the radio stations that causing spoons. We don't cause anybody here. We just make the case. This is Liberia, and we're serving in the interest of the people. Okay? If you disagree with us, you don't have to appear on spoon. Be what Samatua asks you to be. Stay away if you're sedition. Because if you appear, he will not pay you. But yes, the double standard. He's not paying people anyway, so who cares? And that's the fact. So we're saying to you, and thank God Madam Titi have increased. You know, she called AB, the former IG, police IG. They have increased the security presence. And we want to say this, because they have increased the security presence at the network day and evening, that will run through all till the election is over. Because it is why it is. When the blind man say, I will stone you, he got a rock in his hand. We want to say we make the case for the Liberian people, but we encourage our fellow Liberians to help us and be our guide, be our watch. When you hear something, when you see something, say something. And these guys in Dakota says CDC, COP, Zebra unit, guys, go on social media and make your own argument. Nobody will get fair with you. Okay? President Weah is a public figure. We will go after President Weah. We will go after President Weah because if he have done a good job, we will be celebrating him. There's no need for Senator to say, I will pay you guys for you to talk for us. We refuse it. So don't get vexed. Okay? You got a lot of people out there that Senator have paid and continue to pay. So they're doing the work of the government. So I was talking for me. This is Liberia Public Radio Station. And let the people enjoy it. On that note, I know we will talk about this thing again, but on that note, we want to say every one of you welcome, and we are glad at this time we'll be welcoming Dr. Richardson. You want to do us the honor to welcome Madame Kroma?
Yes, Liberians, you heard Madame Kroma on the show before. She was here to tell us her plan for Liberia. She's back again to make a very important announcement. So at this time, I would like her to come in. She's going to entertain questions from the panelists to again highlight the reason why she wants to be president for Liberia. So again, Madame Kroma, I want to welcome you to Spoon again. And I know you have a special announcement, but I'm going to give you the opportunity to also just introduce yourself again to the panelists and to Liberians. And then we'll ask you questions, and then you can also make your announcement. So welcome again, Madame Kroma.
Thank you very much. It's like being home. But before I start, I'd like to make a disclaimer. Councilor Lamik Bagoy and I are first cousins. We have the same maternal grandmother and same.
So let me be on the show. Madam, I'm sorry. We'll take you off the show. You cannot be on tonight.
That's okay. Our family is very diverse. All of the parties.
Yes, I also want to introduce you to the former CEOs. I don't think he was on the last time you were here. I don't remember him being on. But just to let you know that he's on. Okay, yes. Just to let you know that he'll be on here today asking some questions. And
it's because of her I'm here, Dr. Richardson. I heard you say she's coming. I say I want to come. So let's talk.
Great. Yes. Okay. Thank you for the disclaimer, by the way.
I was here the last time. I heard about the fixer. I heard about the rescue. And I heard about the broom. And I told you that day that I am the chosen one.
Correct.
And there was a little bit of laughter. But I came tonight specifically to introduce to you all the chosen two. He is none other than a businessman. I worked for the government all my life. I'm about 20 years his senior, a young entrepreneur. He is none other than Mr. Thomas Crow. You're going to hear from him. Very brilliant guy, very, very industrial man. He has several businesses and he's doing very well for a young man. So I am so proud to bring this young man that's going to teach our young men how to develop businesses for themselves, merge with my, government background. We're going to take Liberia to a level you have never seen before. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome my chosen two, my vice standard bearer, Mr. Thomas Crow.
Well, you heard it. You heard it on Spoon from Madame Kroma, who is running to be president for Liberia. She announced her vice standard bearer here on Spoon, Mr. Thomas Crow. Get used to that name and get used to Madame Kroma's name. Would you like to say something to us, Mr. Crow, before we ask both of you questions about Liberia and your plans for Liberia?
Well, my name is Thomas Crow, and hail from Sinoe County, and live in the United States for over 25 years, and have a couple of businesses and rental properties in Liberia, and educated both colleges. I have an associate degree in accounting, and then a bachelor degree in business administration, and then I'm doing my master's degree, which I'm graduating this coming December with business administration and concentration in the healthcare management. So so much. Yes, we can start from there.
You're muted.
I'm sorry. Would you like to say something about, your plan to make Liberia a more deserving place as you run hand in hand with Madame Kroma, your interest and your love for Liberia? I'm sure she's going to perhaps be the one to say that as well, but just a little bit because you told us.
You want to know what that man got family? What are he married?
Yes, I'm married, man. I have a wife with 3 children. I have a wife with 3 children, 23 years old, 16, and 12 years old. And the last time I watched Madame Kroma on the Spoon Network, I was very impressed, and I thought both of us, we had some kind of compatibility in the sense that I have worked in America in auditing, and I work as an accountant. I'm a certified tax preparer too also, and I work with the state of Pennsylvania also too. So and when she spoke the last time on Spoon TV, and I listened to her, she said she did auditing in California, and she has some accounting background, and I was like, wow, I think we certainly need people like us in Liberia, because from where the country stands right now, we need people that we have some kind of financial background in order to make some changes. And when I listened to her, she said a whole lot of stuff. And then last time we communicated I was in the States. So recently I have gone to Paris, France. My family and I were on vacation there. And then she had called me. She said, Tom, we're doing the vetting process. And then there's a lot of people involved with this whole process. But then I want to be very careful in doing so, because these days you got people coming up, and I have a team in the United States and in Liberia that are doing the vetting process. So when she did that, and she called me later on, and like I said, I was in Paris with my family. She said, Tom, we went through our vetting process, and we think you are the right one, and we think we would like for you to be the vice presidential running mate. And I was like, all right, no. So right away, my wife was right there by me in Paris, and I told her, she said, honey, you can take advantage of that, and I think she thinks to be the rightful person for Liberia, and with your experience and entrepreneurship, you can also be able to assist her, so. And what I did, I caught my trip. We were due back to the States, and then my wife and kids traveled back, and I came down to Liberia, and met with my presidential candidate, Madame Kroma, and I think I saw a lot of compatibility, and with the momentum I saw on grind, I was so excited, and I was like, okay, let's keep it going.
Madam Kroma, I don't know if there's anything you'd like to add, and then before we get the panelists to ask you guys questions about how you intend to again contribute to our country. That's the most important thing everybody would like to hear today, how you intend to serve Liberians. So just go ahead and add to your vice standard bearers' thoughts and comments, and then we're going to take turn asking you questions.
Okay, very well. Well, I've been serving Liberia for a very, very long time. When you talk about balance of trade, since I was a little kid, 4 or 5 years old, we're buying palm kernels, to be shipped overseas. There was a middleman in Total, Mr. McGee, that sold it to someone else, a shipper abroad. And also talk about rubber. Rubber, one of the largest producer, Liberia was one of the largest producer of rubber. I participated in that too, not craving the rubber, but I did all of the finances, paying the tappers. My dad would call this name and say, this person worked 4 days. How much should I pay them? I would tell them that. So just from a very, very young age, I've been involved in this balance of trade for Liberia. And we need to do more. Having grown up, having attended the OAU conference at a very tender age, being part of this society and coming back and seeing the health care is broken. The unemployment rate is high. The corruption perception index is about 26%, too high. Everything is going below par. The war in the Ukraine and Russia has just caused significant economic strain on our country. How do we navigate ourselves from all of this mess? Madame Kroma is the answer. I am the chosen one, and I can do this in a split second. Now, let me tell you something. Remember a couple of years ago, we had this thing called COVID. And at that time, I'm like, why are we sitting down? During this COVID time, our roads should have been fixed. Cars were not moving. And I told several people, this COVID time should have been used to fix all of our roads, but everybody was sleeping. Our government officials were sleeping, and they waited until COVID was over, and they're starting the road in the rainy season and just creating a lot more mess. So, ladies and gentlemen, we can do a lot with Liberia. We can curb all of the waste. We can curb all of the mismanagement. We can take away our corrupt politicians. We can do away with crime and just get our life back together and do what's right for the Liberian people. So my chosen two and I are the best person so far that can get this country on track.
Thank you. You have the chosen one and the chosen two in the studio. We're going to begin to ask them questions. We'll start with you, former CEO. Stanton, your question, please. Your one.
Thank you very much. You said what?
One for now. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Welcome to Spoon Network, Mr. Thomas Kerr, Madame Kroma. Welcome. It's good to have you guys in the People's Studio. It is important that everybody want to, jump into this race. On a very serious note, I know you flew back home, Thomas, Mr. Kerr, and reason that you want to serve your country. You said you spoke to Madame Kroma, and you felt good that together you guys can change Liberia. Talk to Liberians tonight, either or, Madame Kroma or Mr. Kerr. Talk to Liberians tonight. What make you? What are you seeing that you feel that we need to change in the country under this leadership? Let's put this to the person that is in charge right now. What person we are doing so badly that you and your VSB really must change on day one?
Number one, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, straight to number 1,000. I see no progress being made in the last 5 years. Okay, our president took over this nation after Madame Salif. We had many investors in this country. We had Unmail, we had, what's the name of that other person in Cape Mon that was doing a whole lot of planting? We had them too. Everybody is leaving. Everybody is leaving. The students are graduating from the University of Liberia, no jobs, no jobs. And we want to emphasize jobs. Mr. President is taking long trips despite all of this thing we're going through, staying 30, 48 days and forgetting about the Liberian people. And each of those trips costs a lot of money. Money that could have been spent right here in Liberia. Our healthcare system is so bad. JFK, that used to be one of the best. I worked in JFK as a teenager when Cecilia Kennedy was the manager there. I worked at JFK hired many, many teams. I was one of them. You don't see that anymore. There was very, very decent places you used to go. I don't see it. I came back, I was looking for Realtor Cinema. I didn't see that anymore. But we are going backwards. We need to stop, break even.
So I don't want to. I'm sorry, Madam. I know Dr. Richardson gave me one question, but I'm looking for that. Liberians want to hear that one thing. I know you're going up to 1,000, but that one thing on day one that you must change. First thing that you must change, that President we have done in the last 5 years that is so bad for our country. Then I'd just like to hear real quick from your chosen two, what he brings to the table in helping you to make that change. Do you have that one thing that is on your mind right now that you must say to the Liberian people?
Yes, get rid of drugs. There will be no drugs in my office or in my environment. So drugs, I will focus really, really much on drugs.
Thank you. For my last 30 seconds, chosen two, you want to weigh in, please?
One of the primary aspects from my perspective, it would be the job creation, and then number 2, to bring money back into the economy, such as welcoming foreign investors, especially nowadays you see in Liberia. As I know, I've been doing business in Liberia for the last 14 to 15 years, and for the last couple of years, I see from something to zero. There's no foreign investment put into our country. There's no foreign investors, and those are the kind of things that help with job creations and stuff. We can do it as small business owner in Liberia. Like for me, I hire people, but I cannot hire more than 30% for the business I do in Liberia.
Thank you.
My limit is about 30. So
that's one. Thank you very much, sir.
Job creation, and I think it's going to limit. It's going to alleviate a lot of stuff, especially with the uses of drugs and other stuff.
Thank you. So I'm going to go to Mr. Jeru. Can you please ask your one question, either to chosen one or two?
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, Madame Kroma, you are most welcome, and thank you for your courage, like other women who have done so. Mr. Krua, thank you very much. Leaving Liberia, Gilly, United States, going to Liberia and starting businesses, which is going to benefit our people. Before I ask my question, Madame Kroma, you say you were chosen one?
Yes.
Who chose you?
The people, the causes, the corruption.
Mama, your question you're asking, don't do that. I beg you, Madam Kroma. They may want to ask, then he said, before I ask my question. You asking your question now, but the people get only 1 hour. I'm begging you.
They got a broom. When you sweep the dirt, the chosen one has to come there and fix the economy. When you rescue someone, the chosen one has to come and do the necessary stuff. When you fix it,
so the people chose you.
The chosen one comes there and fix it.
Since the people chose you, did they tell you what the problem of Liberia is?
They don't have to tell me. I see it. I see lack of jobs. I see the unemployment rate so high. I see the students graduating with a yearning in their eyes for jobs. I see our borders not being secure, sea, air, everywhere not being secure. I see the influx of jobs, the influx of drugs. So all of those things make me feel that I am the chosen one to come and get rid of those things. And I'm a most likely borrow a broom to sweep some away.
So if you are chosen one, if you were not chosen for the election to become president, what will happen to Liberia?
What will happen to Liberia? Liberia will still remain. Liberia will still exist, but will it exist at its maximum? The answer is no.
Thank you. I'm going to go to Mr. Sandu. Mr. Sandu, your question, please.
Good evening, Madame Kroma. How are you?
I'm doing great, Daniel.
And let me say good evening to your vice standard bearer, Mr. Thomas Cra. It's good to meet the both of you. And I do recognize the fact that it is a constitutional right of every Liberian who has attained the constitutional requirement to contest for the office of president and vice president. But as somebody who is actively engaged with Liberian politics, I'm concerned about the polarization of presidential candidates. You know, people say that's one of the reasons why we haven't had the kind of leader, because the candidates are too many and therefore the voters tend to be confused as to who to vote for. So given the trend of events in this country for the last 4 to 5 years and 6 years now, we have seen that the 2023 presidential elections has basically been narrowed down to a two-horse race. You see Ambassador Joseph Boakai, an experienced public servant in the reverse statement, leading all of the presidential polls have been conducted so far. And you see the incumbent judge, we are struggling to even get his boots on the ground. And this is happening at a time when brilliant Liberians like you are coming in to say you want to contest for the presidency. My question is, do you really believe that your team has got what it takes to defeat the incumbent president? Because here we are as a country, our common goal is to get rid of the menace and the catastrophe that George Weah has created for us. Right now, if you go across the country, before then the issue of drug was just in the capital city. But now I travel the country across the 15 counties, the proliferation of ghettos, the drug cartels is affecting this country all over. So we all want to get rid of Weah. Do you think you have what it takes? Because given the fact that your involvement in the race to be on the ballot will also create some level of distraction for the voters who are fixed on removing George Weah. Do you think you have got what it takes to defeat George Weah?
Mr. Daniel Sano, I am very confident that I have more than the capabilities, that I have more than the zeal, I have more than the courage, I have more than the training, the experience to come and defeat Mr. George Weah. And if Mr. George Weah is fortunate to have been president of this nation, every other candidate that is contesting has more experience, have more courage, have more ability than Mr. Weah. Why not a female coming in? It is time for the female. I mean, we give birth to you all. We feed you all when you're hungry. We take you all to the doctor. We do everything. We care so much for the Liberian people. Yes, Mr. Daniel Sano, this lady over here is more than capable, is more than competent to come and take over this nation and lead it to the direct nation. And by the way, when the state of California had problems, they called a selected few to form a team, that would fix some problems that it was facing. And yours truly was fortunate to call to be part of that team. So we sat and we brainstormed. I'm not going to go into details what the outcome was, but I sat in there for 3 days. We brainstormed. And then at the end, we came up with decisions. We came up with decisions that were implemented that helped that particular state agency. I can do it for Liberia. That particular state agency have more than 20 million in value. The state of California has more than 8 million people. It was the 5th largest economy at the time. Liberia is the bottom of the economy. So yes, I can do that. I can blend the two with my chosen two, his business background and my state background, and all my life, I work for government entities. So with those two mergers, we can elevate this nation to a place it has never seen before. So Liberians, you better listen and you better take this chosen two and put us there. We are ready to get going on day one. Day one we are.
Can I have a follow-up point to that?
No follow up. No, we're running on the 1 hour time.
Yeah, it's great time for me. I understand we're going to go around because I want everybody, because we know she's going to hear us.
Yeah.
Okay, no problem.
Mr. Fagon, I'm going to try to make Mr. Councillor Pakor last because of his relationship. I'm still deciding if I want him to ask his cousin a question. Just so you know,
that's okay.
You gotta allow him to ask, and let's see if you are true loyalist to the nation.
And before you guys start, it's Paraguay, not Paraguay. You pay me for teaching your people to pronounce my cousin name.
Paraguay, I read it down. Okay, thank you, Mr. Fagon. Please ask the question before we go to
Mr. Fagon. Mr. Fagon just give me 10 seconds. He said I should ask this question. And the 10 seconds he want me to ask, the 10 seconds of Fagon just gave me. Seriously, why your cousin not supporting you? Madame Kroma? Why your cousin not supporting you? No, Mr. Fagon, no, I beg you, Madam. Mr. Fagon want me to ask you, and I thank you, Fagon. Why your cousin, a counselor at law, supporting Gonglo instead of you? Why?
So I think I should answer that question.
No. I'm asking the madam. I'm begging you, please. I know it's pedestrian question. I'm asking the madam.
Our family belong to all of the parties.
Absolutely.
All of the parties, not just one. And Gonglo is a personal friend of mine. Gonglo and I graduated from the University of Liberia at the same year. Gonglo and I studied economics together. Gonglo and I sat in the same class with our patron and other people. That just show that we are liberal. Diverse, exactly.
We understand the diversity. Madame Kroma. But if your own house refuse to accept you, why should Liberia accept you? This counselor beat on us here on the show every day. And he's supporting Gonglo. And he's supporting Gonglo. But he said he's not going to support you because it's a fundamental difference between you and him on policy, and we call him counselor policy. Why is this not? Can you help us? Anyway, let's move on, Dr. Richardson. I'm sorry.
The family is huge. The family is huge. Some support me. And I'm glad that not everyone support me. That shows our diversity. That shows that it's like going to buy something, one at Nordstrom or one at CS, stuff like that. I am Nordstrom, he is CS.
But let me come in. I have people from Gonglo. I have people from Gonglo family that are in support of us too. So
we're not saying that. We're not saying we saying that. What are we saying? What are we talking? We see Councillor Pakor that refused to support his own cousin and believe in Gonglo instead of his cousin. But anyway, I'm sorry, Dr. Richardson.
I Madame Kroma's answer. She believes in democracy. She believes in the diversity of thoughts and ideas and free ideas. So thank you for stating that your family, not all of them will support you. Oh, who knows? Mr. Bakwe will change his mind. Who knows? But I'm going to move on to... and if he doesn't, that's fine too. I'm going to move on, Mr. Fagon. Mr. Fagon, please ask Madame Kroma, presidential aspirant, your question, please.
Before I ask Madame Kroma, let me make sure first that Thomas Cry is my friend that
Yes.
I known for some time, especially from the Boulevard
I
at
am.
Randy's shop.
I
Because he
am.
looked, is that you?
Yeah, is that? Yeah, it's me.
Because you're wearing a beard now, you shiny, this, that. Thank you.
Well,
Okay.
you were not shining before Mr. Faco.
No, he's shining in the light, shining on him good.
Okay.
Okay, now I helped Kumis before, I helped all the other people. This is politics. You guys came up and I'm looking at the live feed. So before I ask my question, if they disqualify me, at least I would have helped you guys. There are over 5,400 people watching you right now, just on the Spoon TV. It's not Super TV, it's not Spoon TV, it's not the YouTube, it's not Fabric
It's not
FM,
Fabric.
it's not Fabric TV, it's not Fabric FM, it's not Super FM, it's not Spoon FM. So you have at least 3 million people listening to you. They would like to know what's the name of your party? Where is the party headquarters? Who's your chairman or chair lady? How can people with interest contact you? So before you start doing all these things, you probably want people to finish taking their notes before they listen to you. After they hear you, they'll be about, where the party need? Where the party headquarters? How can we go there? Who the party chairman? If we need to contact them, the way they finish talking, sweet thing, how we do it, and all these things. So again, I think as you answer your questions, please bear in mind that those things as an aspirant is important because you're here to market yourself so that you can get your votes. And Gonglo people will not go for you, so you're looking for the people that will go for you and they need a way to contact you. That's just my 1 cent. Now I go to my question. Why should
Do
Eugene
you have to be forced?
Gonglo people, I was advised today to ignore you. I have caused maximum damage to you already that you got to recover from. So they say I'm going to ignore you now. So let me ask my question. I beg your Gonglo people. Madam Moderator, please protect me
You
from
are
Gonglo
protected.
people.
You are protected from the Congo people.
Thank you. These people have gained a lot of popularity at my expense and they've gotten at least 7 votes again. So let me ask my question. Eugene Fagon is passing, he's riding his sour taxi and he stops. And as a person, he's looking at the drugs. He's looking at the economy in tatters. He's looking at the fact that people make as low as $45 in government monthly. He's looking at the price of rice going from 13 to 22, gasoline from 330 to 520. He's looking at the country as if to say he's in a foreign land, he's a refugee. And he comes up to you, Madame Kroma, tell me, what's my future? I am a Liberian citizen. I have gold, I have diamonds. Look at Western Cluster. Look at Asila Meter. Look at China Union in Bong Mines. Look at gold in Verolium. What is my future? I have everything it takes to be rich, but I am poor. What will you do to take me out of poverty? What do you say to Eugene Fagon and his sour taxi?
I will tell Eugene Fagon and his sour taxi, you don't have the right people in place. Because if you have the right people in place, you would have reviewed all of those concession agreements. You would have stipulated in those concession agreements that either 10, 25%, whatever the number is, have to be Liberians. And then you audit those agencies to make sure those laws are enforced. And not only that, you will make sure there are not backdoors, voodoo economics going on. By that I mean, our government officials signing documents and going backdoor and collecting money that should be in the government's cupboard and spending it for themselves. You will make sure all the loopholes are closed so that you, Eugene Fagon, in your sidewalk taxi can be elevated to maybe an SUV or something that will take you to the Rocket Road, to take you all the way to Bum Mines, Bumming Hills, Lofa, wherever. But you also tell them, you know what? When we get hold of those corrupt individuals, we will teach them a lesson. We're strengthening our judicial system and make sure those people are severely punished so that those things they did are not repeated. Those are some of the things that we do. But Mr. Fargon, we will make sure that your life is better. We will make sure that the students' life are better. We will make sure that the students that are selling the market on the ground will be off the streets and going to school. We will make sure that there will be vast toilet from Cape Mount all the way to Maryland, so that when you're driving down your car and it breaks down, you have a place to go and ease yourself, not in the bushes. Mr. Fargon, those are some of the things we do. It will also have nice schools for our parents that want a chance to go and learn the ABC. We'll also have, foreign trade, like my chosen two said. We encourage chosen investor. We encourage investors to come into the nation so that they can employ more people, so that will decrease our unemployment rate. Those are just a few of the things that we will do, Mr. Fargon. There's a long list, but those are just a few. And before that year end, your car would have been upgraded because you've made so much money. It would have been upgraded, Mr. Fargon.
Let me just elaborate on what Fargon, the question that you asked there, Fargon, concerning you and I. One thing we will look at there, the equal distribution of wealth, because right now we're seeing the way things are going, like for what happened in bombing or what happened there the last time, or with the Western cluster and stuff. There was terrible situation where wealth were not being distributed equally. They went there primarily and talk to few, like I don't want to look down on that few uneducated people, and left the children who had the vast knowledge, education that could have worked on that due, left them behind, and then fooled those old people and came up with that whole Western cluster contract. And after war, it went bad, and there was no way to restate it. So we're looking at the equal distribution of wealth there. And for me, that's one of my main goals, because for me, if I'm coming to Liberia to be a vice standard bearer or president, I'm not coming. I don't need money. I don't need that much money right now. I think what my family and I have already sustained is enough. I'm only coming for the Liberian people, because I have worked hard for whatever I am. And my standard bearer too, I think she shared the similar vision with me. And we are only coming to make the Liberian people to be able to have the worth cost, what they need, the share of our resources, our minerals, our wealth. It just all about it. We are not coming for gains or whatever. No.
Thank you very much. We are going to go to Councillor Pakwe for his question.
Okay, so I was actually debating with myself whether I should ask a question or not.
You see, last time you debated yourself whether you want to ask or not.
You won't pick first on me, but I'm not going to.
Protect the Congo people right now. I'm protecting the Congo people.
So,
but you supposed to ask
the question. What kind of question you ask the sister?
They say ask your sister question.
Let me ask you a question, Chief.
Well, we should also ask the man question. Why are you not supporting your own cousin?
That's why you want to answer. Please ask your question. I'm protecting the Congo people.
I know that why all the ANC they do. All the ANC protecting Gongo because they want Gongo vote. But why you not?
When you are protected, please ask your question.
Listen, this is, I think, the only female candidate in these elections. So give us some decorum and respect.
Thank you.
She deserves it. Let's listen.
So you be giving a hard time here today. One thought now you tell your cousin Benin. Okay, sorry, Papa. Your cousin will move from here. We'll catch you.
Let Labi be protected, man. Why are you doing so?
So I know she has governmental experience. She worked for the government of California for very long years. I think California should be probably the fifth largest economy in the world.
Mm-hmm.
If it were a country, it would be the fifth largest economy in the world. So that's a beast of an animal, you know, a political machinery to be working for and having all those experiences. But someone would say that's a structured society. Having governmental experience working in the United States doesn't translate to having experience working in a terrible economy and a terrible state like ours. How do you square that cycle? How do you address that criticism? Having governmental experience working in the United States is not the same as working for a wrecked or a damaged country like Liberia that has been sunk in a hole that is so deep that we're probably not going to get out of anytime soon. And what will you do? What are some of the hard governmental decisions you prepare to take to turn this country around? Are you prepared to put people in prison for stealing government money? Will you have the stomach to do that?
Yes, I will. And by the way, when I worked for the state of California, there were a lot of people that went to jail because of my auditing work. So I will use the same structure or the same zeal, the same courage to take down big people. I mean, I'm talking about real big people, give them millions and millions of dollars of bills, and they were prosecuted by the state attorney general. And my name are all over in the newspapers in California. Okay, state of California versus David Zeiler, that auditor in charge was me. So coming here, this is like a small potato. These corrupt people over here, I will have no problems. No problem whatsoever putting them in South Beach. No problem whatsoever where they deserve. I mean, because they are hurting our economy. They are causing harm to our economy. You can't let these people just take us for a ride like that. They are causing so much harm to the future generation. We have to stop it now. You stop it now by persecuting them, strengthening our judicial system. Take them from in the streets, take them from these government ministries. Don't recycle them. Nowadays, when something happens, they keep them there. For what purpose? Everybody will come and talk. The American government will come and talk. They will come and showcase the corruption, but yet keep them there. So we have to take strong stance. If you take strong stance, you make your country better. So those are some of the things I will do. And then while we're doing that, when they go to jail, I will actually remove them from there for them to go and clean the streets, for them to go and pick up the trash. That would be some of their job duties. Let them pick up the trash of Monrovia. And not only stop there, go and audit them and take all the wealth that they did not deserve and take it back to them and give it right back to the Liberian people. What does not belong to them, take it back and put it back to the Liberian people.
Thank you very much. You are listening to Chosen One presidential aspirant, Madame Kroma, and her VSP, her Vice Senator Bearer, Thomas Kra on Spoon Talk. I'm going to go to Mo Ali, who just joined us to ask his question. I'll make myself last to ask my question. Mo Ali, your question, please.
No, I'm actually okay. I think you people have said it or asked all the questions. I have more interest in the last part of the discussion. You've asked all of the questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm going to ask you, Madame Kroma, elections require mobilization, messaging, and money. Okay. Can you tell the Liberian people how you're doing in these areas, in these three areas that I mentioned? How are you doing in these three areas, mobilization, money, and messaging?
Can I elaborate on that?
Go ahead.
Dr. Richardson, concerning your question you just asked, mobilization and money and whatever, I know you said, in every elections, the people do something you call fundraising, and people come up and with money, and we have a structure. And like I know somebody had previously asked, if we have a party chairman, if we have a secretary, and if we have at party headquarters. We do have all of these things. So I don't think those things doesn't count for us. The only thing we want the only thing we want here is to make Liberia a better place. And that's what we are trying to do. With that, we have that in perspective, and it's something that would be in surplus, and it's something that we working on vigorously, and we already have it in the plan, and it's pretty soon you're going to see all of them.
Thank you.
I know. Oh, I'm sorry, Dr. Richardson. What's the name of your party again? Because this question, we want to hear the answer to it. What's the name of your party?
Well, I'm an independent female presidential aspirant. Independent.
Okay, so you have no political party and you just run it in as an independent.
Yes.
Yes, independent.
So okay, all right. What's your headquarters? What's the location?
We have several offices, but one is actually right behind
rehab. That's
rehab, right behind Black Guy's house.
Yes.
So, but why you went behind Black Guy's house? To be spying on him? Anyway, let's move on.
It is 5:51.
I know that because it's very important. I know they asked for 1 hour because Madam Titi, the CEO, said 1 hour, but it's very important though. What Fagon was asking you some very important question. What are you leaving with the Liberian people tonight? If they want to reach out to you, they want to contact you, can you give us your information since you run it as an independent candidate?
We have a list of our structures and the entire bodies. So I think we're gonna leave it with the studio. I think if you guys want to post it, or we are also working on creating a website where you'll be able to view everything, and then everything gonna be transparent. They're gonna be on there too. So
Do you have a chairman or chair lady? No, nothing like that yet.
Yes, we do. We have a chairman. We have a SG. We have
What's the name of your SG and your chairman?
Our SG is Alvin Johnson.
Okay, your chairman?
We'll disclose that later on.
Why not now? Do you have a chairman or chair lady?
We have a chairman acting right now. We are still trying to give him that authority. I mean, just last night, our chairman was changed. It was changed, and we are bringing in a new.
Hold on 1 minute. You just changed your chairman? Is that another Liberty Party? Or NPP? No. We coming to?
No. I tell you what, when we smell corruption, we kick them away. We don't waste time. When we smell corruption, we kick them to the curb, and that's what was done in this case.
So you had a chairman before Dr. Richards had Becky. Who can let
she experienced something like how they happy incoming team with a 70,000.
Exactly.
Okay, sorry.
But Fago, why you made a mistake like that, man? Don't do that to me. I don't make a mistake.
Let's say I have a last
question. Wait, so can I? Okay, go ahead. I know you're trying to put. Go ahead.
Can you tell me what it took for you to select a vice presidential candidate? Do you expect your vice presidential candidate to just not be innovative in today's world? What do you expect for your vice presidential candidate? Do you expect him to just only abide by what the Constitution says, break a tie, support you, and also preside over the Senate? Or do you expect an innovative vice president who will come to you with ideas for the younger generation?
Absolutely. And let me tell you about this vice chairman. He's about 20 years my junior. But what he has accomplished as a businessman is phenomenal. So he's going to bring that creative, innovative idea, entrepreneurship, along with my government experience, form that merger and take this country to the place that it's never been. This man has created a lot of jobs. He has a lot of investment. So, and look how young he is, such a young person. So with that in mind, I mean, the younger generation will be highly, highly impressed to see somebody, their crowd, doing such marvelous things. He doesn't work for the government, he works for himself. So he will take those ideas, creative ideas, business sense, a sense of business, a sense of accomplishment, and introduce that to the Liberian people. And you're not going to be one of those VPs that will just sit there and say, so say one, so say, or no. He will work with me hand in hand, hand in hand. That's how he's going to work with me.
How long you been knowing him? How long you
I have
been
a
knowing
last,
Chosen
I have a
Two?
last question.
For some time. We're not going to, for some time.
You've
I'm
been
not
knowing
gonna
him for
say
some
it.
time.
Yeah,
Can
for
we
some
go
time.
back to your chairman? Because it's very important. I beg you, Daniel will come to you. Can we go back to your chairman? What happened? You say your chairman was engaged in corruption, so you found yourself another chairman.
Yes.
But
yes.
you cannot give us the new chairman name. Can you give us the old chairman name and the new chairman name?
I will give you the new chairman name, but I will give you the old chairman name. The old chairman name is Mr. Angel Sherman. Mr. Angel Sherman, first and foremost, he claims that he's a medical doctor when he's not. Mr. Angel Sherman stole thousands and thousands of dollars from me. I wish I had brought the letters. Mr. Angel Sherman brought fictitious letters from NEC, soliciting money from me. I give it to him.
Is that the $6,000? Because we follow you on that. Is that a duping of 6,000 United States dollars?
Yeah. And worst
Okay.
of all,
So let's get I beg you, we'll give you extra 10 minutes because the guys have something interesting to say. It gets interesting now. We'll give you extra 10 minutes. I beg you, Dr. Richardson, please. So go ahead. When you finish, we'll bring Daniel Sano. We'll do another round table.
I tell you what, in the worst of it all, he told me he needed $450 to carry to the elders of Bunk County, where I was born, where my neighbor spring was buried. He went to my friend early one morning, about 7 a.m., collected the $450. You know what he did with it? Ate it. So such a person, I mean, the LMP and has a whole history, but he's still floating around women group. That guy needs to be in jail right now, but he's still passing around. The case is with the Liberian National Police right now, as we speak. It's like Angel Shai Sherman. Along behold, he had been in jail before. He had done this criminal act before, which I did not know, but I hope all of Liberia is hearing his name, and he should be incarcerated and put behind bars for years for what he did.
Thank you. Dr. Richardson, I'm done with my question, man.
Okay,
So,
Dennis.
I'm concerned because, part of the problem this country has had is that leaders do not have a fair appreciation of the complexity of problems that the country is faced with. You have a system of governance that is so centralized. Everything is Morovia. The rest of the country is detached from the central government. As a result, when you leave the shores of Maserado and go in the hinterland, Liberia is like a country that does not fit in the 21st century in terms of infrastructure and the deliverable of basic social services. So when I asked you my initial question as to whether you have what it takes to lead a country like Liberia, I was basically trying to asking you to draw in your experience. What story have you had to connect to the Liberian experience? What has been your level of involvement with Liberia over the last, maybe let's say 5, 10, 15 years? Because I see much of everything you say here is about your American experience. So I want you to talk about that, and also want you to answer whether you have stayed long in the United States of America, the both of you. You both of working with the federal government, the state government of California, and what have you. Do you bear a U.S. passport, the both of you? Do you carry a U.S. passport?
That is no. I have never, ever changed my Liberian citizenship. I've always been a Liberian, and I do bear a Liberian passport. And some of the things I've done, I am rebuilding the oldest English and Arabic school in Banga. And the reason why I went into that, because my dad built that structure, because a lot of the Muslims were just going to learn the Quran and not learning English. So my dad went and built that institution. A lot of your ministers, some of your finance ministers went through that school. A lot of your ministers. So I am rebuilding that school. And hopefully some days it will be a building of cultural exchange, religious exchange. So that's what I'm doing right now. I've also worked at Executive Mansion right here in Liberia. I work at Executive Mansion doing the door administration. I work with the OAU Summit. And just recently, I resigned from the University of Liberia, where goods, services came in, laptops came in from the University of Liberia students, alumni in the diaspora. And I took all of those items and gave it to the university with all one missing or one going to my home. Now we need people like that things will come in, you take it and give it to where it's supposed to go. Not things come and you siphon it to your own private business. So those are some of the things I'm doing. I believe in integrity, accountability, and all of that. So those are some of the things I want to introduce to the Liberian society. I mean, it's here, but you need not go far and see how abuse of power there is in this nation. You need not go far to see the joblessness in this country. You need not go far to see lack of health care. Every time somebody too shaking, they rush to Ghana, India, or something like that. We have one of the best facility in Liberia, JFK. We had Dr. Disibenda. Dr. Disibenda, I believe he was a German. He, did the filling in my tooth. It's still there. Dr. Traub did my eye surgery. It is still going strong. So you see, we need to bring all of those people back. And our students are good. Some people tell me, oh, the university students are not smart. I tell them that's a lie. Let me tell you something. All of this road construction, the engineering student at University of Liberia could have done it, should be doing it with minimum supervision, and those roads would be stronger, the cost would be less, and then the durability, you can use the extra money and invest it somewhere else. So you better get us there.
So
Daniel,
I just receiving text that the fellow who named me mentioned your former chairman. He's also stole from several persons in the United States. He shipped container here. He sell the cars. He doesn't give the people money. I received message from 2 persons right now to confirm that. I don't know how you came in contact with him. Yes.
Okay, let's does anybody else have any other questions before Madame Kroma give her parting comments and also give the opportunity to her vice stand-up bearer to also give his parting comments. Any other questions you have for Madame Benu Kroma, presidential aspirant?
Fagon, are you coming in? No. Thank you very much, Madame Kroma. We can listen to you guys as you give us your parting comments.
I'm going to give you that opportunity.
Okay. I listened to the what's the name of Daniel Sano. I've listened to you on several occasions. Many a times you try to denigrate people, but I stick with, I'm too responsible for that because I listened to you. Those are all friction. With you coming up with those kind of assertions tonight, I don't think you should even be believed it because as I watch the live feeds on Spoon most of the time, as people go through these, such of things, people will come up with fake stories, people will say things, but I got thick skin for that. Like I told you previously, I am a businessman. I've been doing business in Liberia for the past 14 years. I could have just stayed in America, my family there or whatever, but I come to Liberia every 2 months. And I do a lot of stuff here. I help people. I got a lot of people on scholarships. I got people on salaries, and my wife, kids, everybody, they in America. I could have said, hey, you know what? Let go Liberia, I stay with my family. But when you try to do things, people will always come like this, So I just don't want you to base on these kind of rumors and then counter me with it and come at being like that, I mean, you got to get your facts together next time, okay? And like I said, I thank this network very much, and I think you guys are very responsible when it comes to gathering facts and things. And Madame Kroma and I, we make a good partnership in order to be to rule this country called Liberia. And like I said, we are very compatible in so many ways, in the sense that she comes from an auditing background, I'm from an accounting background, and it's a lot of things we can do. You have a lot of candidates in this race doesn't have the credential we bear, both Biden and I, So if you look at the facts, and you can tell to a Daniel Sano, to whoever you're supporting. So so you gotta know and you gotta reason. If we coming, by us coming to say that we want to change Liberia, we are coming with our pure heart. We have that feelings for Liberia. Me, I go around Liberia every day. I'm in Liberia every 2 months. The most I stay out of Liberia is 1-2 months. I'm in Liberia every time. And all my investments have been done in Liberia. And I have a lot to protect here. And with that being said, you and I can make a difference by promoting each other or getting to know the facts in order, instead of bringing one down, like saying things that is not fractured, and like I would say to you, my brother Daniel, next time just get your facts together before you come public, because it's embarrassing for a network like this, please.
Thank you, Mr. Crowd. I want to then.
Thank you. I'm sorry, Dr. Rich is saying, Mr. Thomas Crowd, are you the owner of PTIN? Is that PTIN? What's your tax company name?
It's Crowd Multi Services.
Crowd Multi Services in Arlington?
Yes, in Arlington, yes.
Arlington, Pennsylvania?
Arlington, Pennsylvania,
okay.
Yeah.
Whenever you appear on Spoon, folks that seeing you begin to send information. So a lot of folks sending information about you, and you help most of them with the tax issue. So that's beautiful. Thank you very much for appearing. Go ahead, Dr. Richardson. I
was actually going to give the opportunity to Madame Kroma, but I don't see her on the screen.
Yeah, she went off.
Oh, yes. Or anybody else would like to ask one other question?
Well, that's it. I hope they can come back again, and that we can have
Madame Kroma to
just say to
and give
if I stand up there, the question I asked
is it necessary?
I just want to say thanks to him, because the question I asked helped to clear the doubt, because there are many Liberians who listen to know, they want to know your engagement with Liberian back home here. So when I asked you the question, it didn't in any way mean to denigrate you.
Thank you.
I'm sorry if you thought it otherwise. I just wanted to know, because you see, it's good to have people who understand what Liberians are going through. If you're vying for leadership, you have to understand the Liberian experience. And that was the basis of my question, my brother. So thank you, yeah?
Thank you.
All right, guys.
Thank you. So we don't have... Oh, you said that, madam?
Yeah,
we don't know why you went off.
Yeah, can you please give your parting comments, Madame Kroma, please?
Yeah, once again, lady and gentlemen, thank you so much for having me on this platform. And I hope to see you again sometime. All right. You all take care. Love you all. Madam. And when I become president, there will be no threat to Spoon Network.
Thank you, madam. Thanks.
Come again. It was a pleasure having you and your vice standard bearer. And I wish you the best in your endeavors to become president of Liberia. You are courageous as a woman being in this field of many men. And I thank you. And I'm sure it sounds like your vice president will be a great support to you. Thank you for being here, Mr. Crowd.
Thank you very much.
Okay, guys.
I don't understand why Stanton was so nice today with a woman here. Where he can be too tough with all the.
Man, couple of things you must learn, right? The female, right? When you bring them on, be very careful. They will find every reason to put you in situation you can't handle. Ask Mo Ali if I lied. Yeah, man. I try to be careful. But Madam Kroma,
you see the kind of question I go answer.
Madam Kroma will be back again. A wonderful program.
Next time when she come back, it will be tougher than this. We're gonna make it tough.
So where are we, guys? For me, it's raining and thunderstorm over here badly.
We're gonna go back to having our discussions about what does it mean for the election of President Bio in Sierra Leone? What does that mean for Liberia? We're having a discussion about that. We heard CDC people are being very jolly. They're very happy, and they believe that this is a sign that they are going to win the elections.
Okay.
That's Mr. Jerry. I think you're the one who brought that up, or either Stanton.
No, Dr. Richardson, that's nonsense.
Yes,
When
I
I said
want to discuss
on the show, right?
I want to discuss the standard.
Mr. Gibson, you were talking about Mr. Gibson. You were talking about Tewon Gonglo and the Spoon TV team. Hold on 1 minute, my brother.
It goes far beyond just Stanton and the TV station. It affects the rudimentary cost for freedom of speech in our country. So it might be Stanton. Maybe Stanton overlooking and say, okay, my man, okay, I talk to people, that's okay. But this is the second time we are seeing a major news outlet, radio station, being attempted to be closed. It was Costa and his radio station, now in Spoon TV, being threatened. It is a rudimentary concern for all of us. Freedom of speech is embedded in the freedom of the press. And if the media cannot exercise their right to say what they want to say, to write what they want to write, then we have a problem. And we just signed, the president just signed 2-3 years ago, he just signed the Abdullah Kamara freedom of speech law. And his people are going after a major news and information outlet. It speaks volume. And this is how the people are going to bastardize and violate the rights of people, even if they were allowed to go to second round. And this is why all of us must conglomerate, must join our forces to make sure that Joshua is booted out, because his second term will be devastating.
Thank you.
Just to add up to what Gibson just said, and I think Stanton said something similar. There is a principle that some of us hold very dear, that no one has a right not to be made to feel bad. Nobody got that right. Anybody can make you feel bad. Your response should not be physical. Your response should be intellectual. You know, Councilor Gonglo told me a story once about the president brother-in-law, President Sadiq brother-in-law, going to him when he was at Ministry of Justice to ask him about a news story that was carried about President Salif. So Councilor Gonglo said he told him eventually, after he had tried changing the topic numerous times, and the old man was still talking about the same thing, bringing the same thing up, he told him that when you're listening to one radio station and there's something on that station that you don't like about your sister-in-law, change to another station. Continue changing the stations until you get the one that you want to listen to. That's the attitude. If people here saying something that making you feel bad, switch to another station. The good thing is that we're no longer in the 1980s where we only had ERW, ERCM, and ERBC. Those are the only 3 stations we used to listen to in Monrovia. Or you go to shortwave, while the radio will be grounding all the time. So you continue switching until you find one. For me, when I listen, I like what they're saying, I go to BBC. When BBC saying something, I go to Chinese radio. The Chinese people saying something, I go to the French radio. So at least I will not understand too much of it. You know? So do the same thing. You know, just switch. Just continue switching until you can find something that will suit your soul.
Thank you, Councilor Lamin Pasque.
Let me just add by saying that, you know, this country has been down this road before. And like I've always said, for those who knowingly decide to be ignorant to the history of our country, are nothing but a group of people who are just who they are. Because the freedom of the press, the freedom of expression, are part of the fundamental pillars of our democracy. And to see people who have got no history for the struggle of multi-party democracy in this country, who have got no history from the 14 years of bloody civil conflict that we suffer in this country, that killed people, devastated our country, for them to come back after all we have gone through as a country, to begin to threaten those very ingredients of our democracy that should have us moving as a country. For me, it is a troubling sound. And at this point, we cannot jitter over the threat by the government to be very repressive and domineering as to who can air what, when, and how in this country. No. And the reason why the government has grown increasingly unpopular amongst the Liberian people is the tendency of the government to become very intolerant and very repressive. At some point in time, a Jefferson Koji were not unleashing terror against those who have diverse view with the government. They are threatening to close down radio stations and everything. You have 3 months of elections. There is no amount of clamp down on the press that can change the course of event in this country. It will only amplify the situation and make it more terrible for you. So the government has got all of the powers, all of the authority, all of the manpower in the country, the police, the army. If they like, they can proceed to shut down everything. But will it warrant or guarantee the re-election of Mr. Weah? It will not change anything. It will not change anything. Again, like the Doe regime was recorded as being one of the most repressive regimes in the history of the country, the Weah government is going to be recorded. But sometimes it is only good that we read the pages of history to get reminded that we've been down this road before. The results are not helpful for our country. And we have to desist. We have to desist.
Let me say 1 or 2, Daniel. Thank you very much, because I have to run. I would say thanks to everyone that reached out and continue to reach out to us. We send a message over. Whether it's the government or some units within the government, like the CDC COP, the Zebra unit, whatever they may call themselves, listen, the message will be heard. This rests on President George Manneh Weah's legacy, if he have any. We will continue to proclaim and speak truth to power. We will. Make no mistake. I like what Councilor Bako said. Change the network, change the channel. You go to your favorite channel and let it sing you your kumbaya. If I tire watching CNN, I go to MSNBC. You know, people get mad at me. Sometimes I flip to Fox News. You have so many radio stations in the country. Why Senator getting mad? Why Jefferson Koji just restless? Why Spoon? You have so many. Go find some. Right now, you have so many social media outlets. Go find some of them. Listen as they sing praises to George Manneh Weah and say, hail the king, hail the king. That's what you want to listen to? There are so many of them out there. They would never discredit the president. Everything with them, the president is number one. The president have done extremely well. Go and listen to them. But we invite everyone. So what we're going to do, I mean, the CEO have increased the security presence at the compound. And every messages I receive, I send to Musa Dean, and I will continue to send it. I send to senators, representatives, and ministers in the government that we talk to, we send it to them. Thank God for the good people that are giving us this information. Listen, CDC, make the case for your government and leave Spoon Network alone. You have 99.9% of the airwave in Liberia. Use them. Make the case for your government. 6 years? Who told Senator to steal the 25 million mop-up exercise money? Who told Joe Weah to pay all those condominiums in 6 years while the Liberian people suffer? Who told Senator and Joey to take the World Food Program money and say they give it a World Food Program and the COVID money and they say, you know what, we cannot order them. No. 16 billion. Who told the government to eat it? Look at RIA Highway. They ate that money too. Imagine who asked President George Manawia to be all of the country for 48 days, where the Liberian people suffer. What can we say these things? Go to the hospital, Redemption Hospital. Nothing. Empty. Look at the roads. Cummins and other folks got to go through Ivory Coast to go to enter into Maryland. Look at Daniel Sano. They were traveling somewhere in the interior. I saw the pictures. Yombly, Daniel Sano, Jeremiah Coon, bar roads. Your government promised 800 million. They're having surplus. They can pay Civil 7. They're begging for 65 million. They're begging to use for the campaign money. The balancing popping all of our mouth. Who told your government to be worthless? Children still sitting between cars. Motorbike is hitting the babies because they got to sell the candy, the toffee, for them to take that $5 home for the family to eat. But President George Manawia and his entire government living on Hennessy XO. We shouldn't say it. And I will say this. The president cares about his football career. He cares about all his 10-10. He cares about his money he's receiving. That's why you're mad at me. It's not my radio station. You got some good men in the country that are trying to fix this country. Some good women trying to fix the country. And you vest. God will telling you the truth. You know what you can do? Turn that angle around and talk to your president to do the right thing. With 4 months to go to the election, though it's late, talk to him. Talk to President George Manawia. He failed to replace those idiots that stealing the money, the government money, building the mansions in Ivory Coast and lying to him. He failed to replace them because he enjoyed the comfort of the loots. Come on, man. You think you will stop us? You cannot stop us. Liberia will get better. If this is Jose Yima Bwaka operating like this, we will tell him. If it is Mr. Cummins, we will tell him. Tawan Gonglo, we will tell him. We will tell them to the faces because it is indeed the right thing to do. We have come a long way. You put your beret on the National Drugs Day, the day that government pushing against drugs. President, we are putting beret and failed to speak to the nation. What a disgrace. And you say you're fighting to remove drugs, but you have eaten the $3 million the partners gave you. When Zoga Wasing asked for it, you'll get vexed with Zoga Wasing. Our people are dying every day. Our people are hungry. They're begging for change. Be not deceived. We will see the end to this tunnel. And the light at the tunnel will not be the light President George Manawia we are carrying. Enough is enough. We'll call spade a spade. The president had enough time to change this thing around, and he refused. All those that are receiving money from Sematwe to say they will preach the message, the time will come, and the time is now that you will hear the voice of the silent listener, my people. So if you think burning the building down will serve you right, Jefferson Koji, Samuel Twe, Mr. President, whoever involved, and think you're doing the right thing, generation goes and generation comes. Guess what? The world stay the same. But this regime will go, and the Liberian people will enjoy the fruit of the labor. Come on, guys. It's always a pleasure joining you on Spoon Talk. We wish you well as you continue the program. We look forward to seeing you guys again tomorrow. From my end, I have to go. May God bless you. May God keep you. And may God bless our dear country, Liberia. Have a good night.
Thank you. Thank you
I
very
want
much.
all that in there.
What you say, more?
I want to talk about one particular issue.
Okay, go ahead. Tell your own.
Yeah, you know, quickly, there are so many radio stations here, and I'm going to start off from where Councillor Bagoy spoke from. Like me, because I'm a politician, there are many radio stations and newspapers that can be me first. When I get vexed, I switch to the other one. Like 12 of BBC, I used to listen to them. This time, I don't listen to them. I don't watch CNN. I go watch my Chinese station and watch the other one then. There's no need there to make plan. And the one that make it easier, when your radio station broadcast something I don't like, social media there this time. I can just take my phone, go live on Facebook. I told my own too. When your newspaper writes something that I don't like, I go right on my page and say the thing your newspaper wrote that lie. I don't have to agree with you. You don't have to agree with me. I got almost 45,000 followers on my page. So when you say your own, when you read your own, I go and read my own. So that means my man Rodney will get joined inside. When you publish a paper, I go on my page and say, Rodney, that thing you read, no here, no thing inside. He came in my inbox, we make plan, we finish with it, we settle, we go on by our business. But this issue of going to have meetings, to threaten, to burn a radio station, and all this kind of stuff. Now, let's forget about the fact that we may not like a station. But when a station operates, they employ people. People who government cannot afford to provide job for. You have a private entity that is providing job for them. Because they're not speaking for you, then you say you will burn it down. So anytime I used to get Velvet Spoon there, where I watch them, I don't listen to them. Wouldn't be flower. It's as simple as that. Like Lami said, if you were like before, when you got the 3 stations, a few newspapers, it hurts you. Right now the world has been modernized. You now want to listen to it, move from there. The good thing is they're not stopping anybody. Can let's sit down, we'll debate the issue. Like we can say, try your own and try my own. Let the people be the judge. They will be the judge or the jury to say, okay, Lami right, more wrong, we're going beyond Lami. You know, more right, Lami wrong, we're going beyond more. That's it. Nobody should threaten to burn a radio station simply because somebody expresses themselves. You guy on the radio station, go there too and deal with Stanton. If a station made you vex. And now I'm doing this time. Thank you, madam, for allowing me the time to speak on the issue.
Definitely, I'll add my voice about a hallmark of democracy is allowing people to have choices and freedom to a certain extent. And so when you have radio stations and newspapers in the country, we are just giving diversified views of others and that we must respect. As many have said already, if you do not like anything that someone's talking in today's world, you have multiple choices. Change your station, Moali said, go on social media, present your views. And people who want to believe in what you're saying will follow you. So what does this solve if you say you want to burn down a radio station? It does not stop the views of others moving forward. It doesn't stop anything. If anything, it puts a dent on our democracy in our country. And I will urge any leader to not even go that route. So guys, thank you for all that you said. We'll continue to preach the goodness for our country's sake. And we're going to transition a little bit for the next couple of minutes we have for everyone to take time to give their views on the election of President Bio in Sierra Leone. What does that mean for Liberia? So I will go again and start with you, Gibson Jeru. Mr. Jeru, I'll start with you, then go to Mr. Sandu, and then go to Councillor Fakwe, and then Mo Ali.
Okay, thank you very much. Before going to Sierra Leone, I just wanted to say if you close Costa down, Spoon rise up. You close Spoon down, another radio station will rise up. It's a waste of game. It's a waste of time. Look, when the county was going on, members of the opposition were rough, were uneasy. They started to complain. The process is slow, and then eventually, Matters Bio was announced president, having won 56% of the votes in Sierra Leone. And for me, I am particularly watching this trend. Matters Bio, it cannot be compared to George Weah in many ways. Matters Bio has a great history behind him for state, for his involvement in politics. Unlike George Weah, who jump-started his career and he doesn't master the craft. So the victory of Matters Bio cannot be construed as George Weah is going to win. If they are going to judge the victory of Matters Bio to think that George Weah is going to win, that would be a mistake because the dynamics are not the same thing. We are talking about closing down radio station right now. We're talking about Costa radio station being closed down, and now another one is being threatened, according to Mr. Peabody, Mr. Witherspoon. In Sierra Leone, I was just reading. In Sierra Leone, the statistics from the IJNet, International Journalist Network, since Matters Bio became president, the 1965 criminal and sedition libel law against that used to hold journalists down was repealed. And since then, 130 registered newspapers are in the country, 165 registered radio stations are in the country, 42 registered televisions are in the country. Now, if you look at that, you compare that to Liberia, it is just not matched because in Liberia, we have 130 radio stations and 40 newspapers and 130 radio stations, a few television stations. We have greater media presence in Sierra Leone that criticize Matters Bio every day, but still he managed to maintain his popularity, winning 56%. George Weah does not have that same kind of the ability to do so because George Weah is not even. I was just looking at the amount of grants and companies that show up in Sierra Leone as compared to Liberia. The Liberia is nowhere near that. Since George Weah became president, everybody is on a wait and see situation. So I don't think that victory can be transmitted, can be construed as George Weah having the chance to win this election. I mean, as a matter of fact, if George Weah knows what I know, somebody said he should resign before it becomes too shameful. Because if he tried to rig this election, that would be the worst mistake ever in his entire life. This particular election is coming. The opposition will win. And whoever the opposition that wins is going to be devastating for George Weah. And that's what I think is happening here. Sierra Leone, his situation is different. Matters Bio has set himself up to be the way he is. He understood politics. He was able to maneuver. There was situations in Sierra Leone, don't get me wrong. There were a lot of situations that took place in Sierra Leone, but Matters Bio was focused. When George Weah was receiving
30 seconds, Mr. Guru.
Yeah. Okay, let me stop there.
Thank you. Before I go on to Daniel Sinoe, I just want to throw a sense of humor into our discussion. Kanga Pega says that if you close Spoon down, we'll open Pain. If you close Pain down, we'll open Pat. If you close down Pat, we'll open Copat. So just to let you know, just a sense of humor. Mr. Sandu, please discuss your thoughts. You are discussing the difference in when you're driving from Sierra Leone, from Foya. You said you went to Foya, you passed through Sierra Leone to get back into Liberia, and you saw the roads night and day. Go ahead, finish your thought.
Yes, and the roads, the road I would drove on, very, very much. I was very much impressed. And I'm told that there's this project to connect every West African country. Ours begin from Banga to Menikoma. President said he broke ground for that road. We should have taken the road from Banga to Menikoma between Sierra Leone and Liberia. Mr. Weah became president 6 years on. That project is a fiasco. But what is key to be said here is that the re-election of President Matters Bio in Sierra Leone signifies a renewal of confidence. It's a vote of confidence that was cast by the people of Sierra Leone. And that reaffirmation of confidence in the president, in President Bill, is based upon his accomplishment. In the context of their own politics, his accomplishment, infrastructure, economic stability. We all were here, we saw how he made a case for Sierra Leone across. Do you know how many millions of dollars Sierra Leone received in terms of loan? Even the Mediterranean Challenge Corporation, Liberia, have flung for the last 5 years on a weir. Madame Bill succeeded in having Sierra Leone to secure, to pass a compact, therefore getting millions of dollars from the United States government to carry on developmental projects in his country. So for somebody to sit in Liberia, a country that had become a pig hole on a George Weah, to say that because Madame Bill was re-elected in neighboring Sierra Leone, so the same thing will be replicated. It just speaks to the mindset of people who are in CDC, that they do not understand, regional politics in the context of their own country, and they want to take it outside there. But here's what I want to say, right? The Liberian voter, for time immemorial, have always voted against presidents that fail to achieve what we call microeconomic stability. In Liberia now, what we are witnessing is very catastrophic. The Weah government has struggled unsuccessfully to achieve anything near macroeconomic stability. Liberians now who are even working in the government, even though civil servant cannot take pay on time, but you cannot plan beyond 1 day, because today the rate is 170, tomorrow is 190. The prices of basic commodity are soaring on the market on a daily basis. Look at rice, for example. When we became president, the bag of 25 kg rice, the nation's staple, was sold for $13. Right now, it's sold for almost $25. Okay? So these are just indications to tell you that the president has not worked to achieve this. What can the Weah government point to? Because the re-election, in my understanding, should be justified based upon the work, the successes of the government, and then saying to the people that, look, we want to improve on what we have done in the last 6 years or 5 years, so give us another term. In the case of Weah, what can he say? The government, the Minister of Finance was on the radio yesterday. The Minister of Information as well. He was on the radio struggling. They said they have paved 600 kilometers of road since Weah became president. And the general was basically asking this minister, where are the roads? The Minister of Information of the government struggled to point out the roads that they have paved over the last 5 years. Right? The finance minister called to come to his rescue. He himself could not point out the roads that they have built. Today, unfortunately for them, somebody who worked with the Ministry of Public Works during the era of President Salif was on the radio and actually said that the Weah government have paved 89.9 kilometers of road. And that encompasses all of the community roads and everything. So they're not factual. If you're factual about things to say, we want to point out our success in the last 6 years. And we're going to tell you how we're going to continue from where we stop, in the next 6 years. Then you're making sense to the people. But the Weah government cannot tell you what they have achieved in terms of infrastructure development, economic viability. They cannot tell you. Even the PAPD, the Pro-Poor Agenda for Prosperity and Development, they said they're going to provide 1 million jobs for the Liberian people, the young people. The Minister of Finance on radio last week and said, over the last 5 years, they have been able to provide 26,000 jobs. So that tells you that the policy has failed. So what is going to inform the population to say, let's reconfirm or let's reaffirm confidence in the government? Well, you are not performing in any aspect. The only thing they have done here so far is to enrich himself, dip in the size of the pocket, and plunge the Liberian people into abject poverty, like previous government have done. So at this point, Liberians are looking everywhere for help, and that's why you see the rescue train is gaining momentum by the day across the country. Look at the issue of drug. Let me just conclude. Look at drug. On a day that is set aside to amplify our fight against illegal substance, drugs and substance abuse, there's no formal statement issued by the government. If there's any area that should be of concern to the government right now, it should be the area that drugs is widespread. It's endangering the whole population. The government did not even issue a single statement. What we saw on yesterday was the president posting barrel on Facebook and everything. So we want to challenge the solution. After the barrel challenge, post your employment letter. Yeah, so we can see the job that we have created for you, because it's very important. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Daniel Sandu. Mr. Mwali, your thoughts on what it means for Liberia?
Well, Sierra Leone is Sierra Leone, Liberia is Liberia. So Sierra Leone electing their president mean re-electing their president means that they are reimposing confidence in him for the work he has done over the last 5 years he served as president. People can only be re-elected when they have done well and nothing else. There's nowhere, I saw one of my friends posted Nigeria, Sierra Leone. Then put question mark to Liberia. Who told you because people re-elected a ruling party in Nigeria or because a sitting president was re-elected in Sierra Leone, therefore it should happen? That's a kind of syllogistic reasoning they call post hoc ego propter hoc. That because of this, therefore this. Because a ruling party was re-elected in Nigeria and a sitting president was re-elected in Sierra Leone, therefore a sitting president in Liberia will be re-elected. That's a syllogistic reasoning. It doesn't hold. People are re-elected on the basis of what they've done. That means that the citizens are satisfied with them. In the case of Liberia, for example, every Liberian will admit to you that President Sirleaf did well, given the circumstances in her first term. If you are twisted it around and brings President Sirleaf's second term to the first term, she may not have got re-elected. If you have changed the scenario around, say bring the second term as the first term, she may not have got re-elected. So President Bio has done well in Sierra Leone. I traveled to Sierra Leone last year, March, and I was shocked at the level of development. We drove from the border, from Jendema, straight to Freetown on Kota Road. We took 7 hours from Liberia straight to Freetown. This time, people traveling from here to Freetown, they won't go by road. My friend was traveling to go as an AU observer to the election. He was telling the AU, I won't go by road, but they put in plane. In plane, you got to leave from here, go to Ghana, from Ghana before you go to Sierra Leone. Long hours. This man has brought, he goes out there, represent his country well. He makes Sierra Leoneans proud. That's what the president is doing. He's engaging into agriculture. The agricultural productivity is higher in Sierra Leone. They are not crying for importing rice as we do. So one cannot say because the men were re-elected, incumbents are being re-elected around the continent, therefore our men too will get re-elected. No, that is not true. Anybody who wants to get re-elected, they will do well. Bio wanted to get re-elected, he did well. And with all the things they can say about Muhammadu Buhari in Nigeria, the Nigerians believe that he did well. That's why they elected Tinubu, who he was supporting.
Thank you.
Just 1 month, the people are seeing the difference. So that scenario does not hold yet.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Ali. We're going to go to Councillor Lamin Pakwe. Please tell us your thoughts on the re-election of President Bio of Sierra Leone.
So unfortunately, we were disconnected, so I don't know what most of the other people said. But I have been to Sierra Leone, I think like 3 or 4 times over the past 2 years. And I mean, it's different. The last time I was in Sierra Leone before my most recent visit was in, I think, 2008. It was the year when you had the runoff elections between Khalifa Smythe and Kroma. That runoff election that led to Kroma becoming president. Was the last time I was there before I went there recently. And that was like a 10-year span, and everything was different, really different. Yeah, those narrow roads that I saw in Freetown the first time I was there, I went back there, I didn't see any of them anymore. They've changed the infrastructure, especially the different community roads. Freetown was really different to me. But quite besides that, the people who try to draw similarities between Sierra Leonean politics and Liberian politics are basically people who do not understand the two countries. Anybody who knows the two countries will know that politics in Sierra Leone is absolutely a different animal from what politics is in Liberia. Liberian politics is diverse, dispersed, is not based on any ties. Or unlike in Sierra Leone, you got two major parties that are situated strongly in different regions in the country. So what the two parties have to do, they already have a base to start from, and the only thing they need to do now is to encourage, is to get convinced other smaller groups to join them in order to take them over the edge to become the leaders of the country. And gradually they've been doing that since multi-party democracy was restored in Sierra Leone with the election of President Tijen Kaba. And then since then, subsequently, Kaba did his 2 terms. It's been kind of vacillating between the two groups. So Kaba was SLPP. When he left power, after 2 terms, he went to APC with Kroma. Kroma did 2 terms. And it went back to SLPP. Even though Malabio contested against Kroma, I think twice before becoming president. So now he's going to be ending his two terms. And I can assure you, I can bet you, Samora Kamara is the next president of Sierra Leone. I mean, it's common sense. You see it. I mean, you can just see it, you know. So anybody who tries to make that link and say Sierra Leonean politics and Liberian politics are basically the same because we are neighboring countries, that person doesn't know what they're talking about.
Thank you.
Yeah, that person doesn't know what they're talking about.
Thank you. I just want to add my voice to what you guys are saying. I believe that President Bio is very different from President Weah in terms of how he promoted quality education in Sierra Leone. If you look at the education system in Sierra Leone, he hired more teachers than what we have in Liberia. He just didn't amplify education by giving wide fee, but he wanted quality education. Education is different from quality education. He promoted special education teachers as well, a special education curriculum being offered in the schools because he understands that all of us as human beings are not the same. Some people have physical strength, some people have intellectual strength, and some people may not have the emotional strength, and someone needs to attend to that. They need to be supported. So I really appreciated how he amplified and utilized resources from the UNICEF, from Europe, and also from Sierra Leone to make the education system a system where students are on a path to becoming better for the next generation. So I just wanted to add my voice to that. I'm going to quickly want to turn to the phone line to get at least 5 calls about what we discussed today. We discussed Chosen 1 and Chosen 2, and we also are discussing now why it is important for Liberians to be involved in Liberia's politics and not just use any kind of logic to say this happened in Nigeria, this happened in Sierra Leone, so it's going to happen in Liberia again. So we want Liberians to be very informed about what's going on in our country because October 10th is our day to make our choices. Nelson, do we have time to go to the phone line and our connectivity in Liberia? I know we've been struggling over the past couple of days. Nelson, can you take at least just 5 calls before we do our closing comments? Councillor Parkway, can you tell Nelson I'm looking for him?
But you can do the calls. He's coming to take the calls.
Okay, thank you.
We can do calls?
Yes, certainly. We can do that.
Okay, so let's five calls from Liberians. Let them give us their views on. We talked about Chosen 1 and Chosen 2 came here. She's a presidential aspirant female wanting to make Liberia a country that provide opportunities for all Liberians. And then we also are talking about the difference between Sierra Leone and Liberia and the progress that Sierra Leone has made because of the type of leadership that they have in Sierra Leone. So let Liberians speak to us on this.
Okay, so the numbers to call tonight on the program are 077-101075. That and 05551010075. These are the numbers you can call tonight, and you'll be live on the program Spoon Talk. We'll go ahead and take our first call. Good evening. You live?
Good evening, Lesson.
Yes, sir.
And good evening to the panelists. This is DJ Lemaire calling from Corway.
Okay, DJ Lemaire, go ahead.
Vice Chair for Administration, the J and B contacting. Look, let me say to the Liberian people, let me say good evening to all the panelists there. Look, the Liberian people should know that Sierra Leone, mana bio first time, more I say, mana bio first time, mana bio ready work to show the Sierra Leoneans that he wanted Sierra Leone. Come an example when they travel, when President Weah and mana bio and all of African leaders travel, when they go out there, look at the last travel from America. When President Weah was coming here, he brought Joe Biden and his photo. The citizen was running all around with him. While Manabio went over there to university lecture and share something back home. Even when they went to China, Liberian President came here with resource swap. At the end of the day, Manabio went over there with bosses. We saw the road that Manabio is opening. Manabio already worked for the Sierra Leoneans, and they can prove it. But you come here to say, oh, President Weah is full that. Because while they're running away, President Weah full to get 12 years. Because Sierra Leone President, you may say, oh, Sierra Leone President work. He showed to the people that he really loves the people. When it comes to education, the standard is hard in Liberia.
Thank you.
Nobody will be blind. I can't tell you say the name George Weah President.
Thank you very much for your contribution tonight. Let's take another person. Good evening. Good evening. Go ahead. You're live.
Good evening.
Hello. Go ahead, sir. You're live.
Hello.
Hello. You are live. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah. Good evening. My name is Prince Nascimento Goto, and I'm calling it even from my Pakistan, the 13 resident.
Go ahead.
Let me appreciate all the panelists in the studio, and let me appreciate them for such a wonderful discussion tonight. You see, I heard the last caller just mentioning about Malabio. This election, I will care for any Sierra Leone. International report from that party election is very bad. It's not thing to make reference. So I think we need to stop that. No matter your skin, no matter your position as the opposition or a reading and settlement memo, when it comes to election, any election that mayor with corrupt nature, that should not be a reference to your country.
Thank you very much. Let's hold it there. Good evening, you live.
Yes, I'm Jerry Afghan, calling from PSA.
Go ahead, Jerry.
Yeah, wow, can tell the United Party and opposition, they must get beyond their feet. They must not only depend in the city. They must be going up interior, running campaigns seriously. Or else the villagers will not care who become president of Liberia.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Hello. Good evening.
Good evening, Messi.
Yeah, go ahead. You're live.
I want to be thankful to the panelists for their brilliant discussion tonight. When it comes to the workings of Madame Kroma and that of President Weah, I mean, they are not comparisons. But for the fact that last month, our interview, I drove from the border all the way into town. I mean, I will have been paid even all the way to Kalahun, all the way to my hair in Opa. So I mean, the work of Malabi is overwhelming. So the Sahrawians, we are not compared, but I mean, they are overwhelmingly encouraged.
Thank you.
By the working of Malabi. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Good evening.
Good evening. How are you?
Yes, sir. Go ahead. You're live.
Yeah, Robert Nwankuru, District 17. We're talking about Sierra Leone, and what I want to say is that our new people that are coming in for the first time seeking the presidency, everyone, I just wanted to say, I think I texted this here, but every word that comes out of their mouth is not new. It's just old thing being re-expressed. So I want them to only tell me how they can do it, not what they are saying, that's not what I want. Then we go to Sierra Leone and then we look at the kind of development. If you get to the border, from the border to go inside Sierra Leone, go water side and going to enter in Sierra Leone. Look at that and then compare our international airport coming to the city. You know, my brother, we got to remain Liberian. We got to take Liberia at heart. Please, let's stop all the confusion. I think Liberia comes first.
Thank you very much.
Point. Thank you.
Thanks for your contribution.
Okay, one more call, Nelson, and then we'll give our parting comments.
Okay, so we take this last person. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening. This is Sanomo.
Sanomo, go ahead.
Yeah, that is the time to all of our people are listening. Malabio Airport and the new airport, not only airport, state of an airport. That alone gravitated people to working. Our man, they came to power, they made the airport yet. My educated terminal. So even for like on the airport, Morovia, no like, no the flight can't come to Liberia. So Malabio, to build new airport. They are no longer right ferry from the airport to Freetown. But they got a state of an airport. That alone is enough for a re-election.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So it's back to you, Dr. Richardson.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We are going to do our parting comments, 2 minutes each. We're going to start with Mr. Gibbs. Mr. Jeru, could you please give your closing comments?
You are muted.
We can hear you.
We want to say to all Liberians, Councillor Gonglo and the Liberian People's Party and all of the Gonglo International Movement are happy that from now to the 8th of July, the vice presidential running mate will be unveiled. I've already bought my ticket. I will be in Monrovia to attend the program in Banga, Bon County. We chose Banga, Bon County because it is a strategic, historic, and identity area for Councillor Gonglo. His mother is from Bon County, and so we wanted to give a gift to his mother, and so we are hosting a program in Bon County. So those of you who say he wasted time, the race is not to the swift, but he that endureth to the end. It is not who picked vice presidential candidate first. It is who picked the quality vice presidential candidate. And all of these things we are talking about, Liberian people will judge us at the end of the day. Who was supposed to be elected or who is supposed to be elected? And if the Liberian people make a bad decision, they will have themselves to blame for the next 6 years. They elected George Weah. Everyone is regretting why they elected George Weah. So we don't want people to regret. We want you to understand that Councillor Gonglo cares about the country. He cares about the people of this country. He has stood up for justice. He stood up for rule of law. He believes that once Liberians are all treated the same way, there will be no reason for the Bush war that Charles said abroad. If Samuel Dolan had treated everyone equally, if nobody was aggrieved, if nobody was hurt, we will not see Charles successful in his Bush war. But that's what happened when rule of law is absent in the country. So we are hearing now that the George Weah administration want to close another, or his thoughts want to go and storm the Spoon FM. I don't have to own Spoon FM to know that it is bad. It is bad omen. It's bad for politics. It's bad for democracy. So we are very much we are aware of the tax ahead of us. We are not overlooking anything. We believe that this race, we will fight to the teeth until we reach to the bridge. We will cross it at any moment. We have the canoes to cross, and we will pedal the canoe to across the bridge or across the river. So I want to say thank you to Spoon for always giving us the opportunity to come here. And we are happy and will always be able to abide by the rules here so that we all can be civilly discussing the issues. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Jerry. We're going to go to Daniel Sando.
Well, let me just say again, it's good to be back here. We had a very hectic weekend. I toured in rural Basso. Whenever we have the opportunity to tour these areas, it gave us a fair appreciation as to the problems our country continue to face in terms of the inaccessibility leading to bad road condition, even network connectivity. You go to some places you don't feel life. There's no network connectivity. People have to walk for hours before using the cell phone and everything. Even the hospitals. Healthcare is a major challenge for our people in the rural area. In 2017, I was on the delegation of Councillor Bromsky that toured the Southeastern region, and I became more exposed to the problems. From one county to another, you get to understand that the problems are all the same. The problems are all the same. Some of the villages, some of the big towns, there's no school, there's no clinic. You have to work for hours to access these services. So, at this point, we can't help but just to continue to work and push for our people to join us in our effort to campaign for and usher in the leadership. I would not make Liberia heavy on earth, but at least we'll make meaningful efforts in addressing some of the issues. I do believe that if Mr. Weah has at least started from where President said he stopped, this country will have a very success story today at this point. But in 5 years, look at the RRA road. Those who are using smaller vehicles on our road, just a matter of months, your car going to get damaged because the whole road is a death trap. They said they were paving the road, the rain has come, and the rain has washed away all the crushed radical that the potholes are in the middle of the road. And it feels so terrible right on that road. And so, as we approach the election, all of these problems will help to inform our people as to why we need to change the Weah government. It was an opportunity given to them by the Liberian people. He himself said it. He did nothing. And the Liberian people, in an infinite search for a leader who would take meaningful steps to address their problems, said this man is not among the traditional Liberian politicians. Let us give him a try. And that experiment, the Weah experiment, has failed miserably. And here we are now, 3 months, 4 months away from the elections. All of the threats you see coming up against friendly media institutions are just another expression of fear by the government because they have done very little to warrant their re-election. They know that they have fallen out of favor with the people. And so we know that repressiveness is always the tool at the disposal of any government that has fallen away from or lost favor with the people. It happened during the Doe regime. It happened during the Tita regime. If Mr. Weah followed suit, I would not be surprised. But again, you cannot change water into wine at this point. They are run out of time. The Weah experiment has failed. The Liberian people now have an opportunity to usher in a leadership that will restore the lost dignity of our country on the international scene. Look at neighboring Sierra Leone, the kind of successes that was scored over the last 5 years in Sierra Leone. Liberia cannot match Sierra Leone. Look at the schools we talk about, the quality of education being delivered at the various institutions. What is government doing? You have a national budget, you look at the budget, every year you see millions of dollars allotted to the office of the president. And nothing goes into health. Nothing goes into education. No capital investment initiative. And all you hear them now talking, they try to cook the numbers to amplify what they have not done, to make it seem like we're lying about things that are happening in this country. But we'll always make use of the platform to properly inform the Liberian people as to the way forward. And good thing is our people are following. In this ancient time, social media, you see people going to the Southeastern region, the whole region is caught up, people doing their own video, posting it on Facebook. So citizen journalism is also helping to expose the inability of the government to address some of the problems that we face here. We look forward to being here tomorrow, and as always, to speak on behalf of our people and provide a way forward. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councillor Lami Kwakwe.
Councillor, you are muted.
You hearing me? Am I being heard?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So as I was saying, for us in Liberia, it's unfortunate that we are still talking about solving challenges that the Europeans and the Americans were able to conquer 300, 400 years ago. We're still talking about conquering them 400 years later. It's shameful. We're still talking about building roads where we got to give contracts to foreign companies purely because few people won't get kickbacks. That is shameful. We're still talking about food insecurity because few people want to get kickbacks from giving contracts out to people or from giving import permits out to people to import a commodity like rice in a country. That is extremely shameful. We're still talking about healthcare delivery in our country. The lack of healthcare, proper healthcare delivery in our country, where anybody who has a little bit of money or who is a senior official of government seeks medical help in foreign countries. That is shameful. Till we can solve our leadership problem by having people who come to power who are not interested in personal wealth, till we can make that link between our poverty, our wretchedness, our hunger, our disease, till we can make the link between poor governance and those things, this country makes no progress. By today, we Liberians should be talking about inventing something. We shouldn't be talking about how we face road during the rainy season. In fact, our university, the University of Liberia Engineering School, has been in existence probably maybe 40 to 50 years. What kind of research capacity that has been developed to help us to do roads all year round? When you go to Europe during the winter time, the people can be building the roads. Why do you think they can build roads during winter time in Europe and we can build it during rainy season time here? Because of our myopic way of thinking. We're still a rent-seeking society. We put people in power. The only thing they're interested in is how much money they can reap from the society. What kind of contract they can give her and get kickbacks. Until we can remove ourselves from that small-minded way of thinking, the country makes no progress. And that's the reason why some of us got behind somebody that comes to the Gonglo and told him, you have shown to us that you're not somebody who's greedy. You have shown to us that you're somebody who's selfless. You have shown to us that money doesn't fool your eye, if I may say it the Liberian way. So we ask him, put yourself forward for leadership. And that's the reason why we are behind him to the end. Regardless of what happened, we support him because we know in order to move the country forward, you need somebody who will come to power who's not interested in wealth. And I will close by saying this. Every time you see a leader that is corrupt, that leader will not act against other people who are corrupt because they are directly or indirectly benefiting from that corruption. It defies logic to believe that somebody will not be a thief, but when other people steal to bring it to them, they won't say, no, I don't want the stolen goods in my home, or I will report you to the police. You got to be a thief in order for you to allow all of your friends to steal and you do nothing about it. with a Gongolo administration, any of us who will be in there will not dare decide to be thieves, because you know there will be punishment for doing that. If the president himself is now a rogue, there is no way his lieutenants will be rogues. Absolutely no way. Because you punish them for doing those wrong things, and you not keep people like that around you. This country needs to move forward. The Liberian people need to realize that it's not about who is coming to you to vote for them. It's about what that person's track record is. What kind of positive track record that person has, especially on honesty and the desire not to steal. Anybody who comes to you for your vote and that person doesn't have a stellar character, or stellar anti-corruption character, or stellar honesty character, that person is not worth it. They say, tell me your friends, show me your friends, and I will tell you who you are. Birds of the same feather flock together. If somebody has a lot of corrupt people in an entourage, that person is most definitely also a corrupt person. Don't trust that person to say, oh, I myself, I've never stolen before. But what about all those corrupt people that are around you? Why are you keeping them around you?
Thank you very much, Councillor Lami Bakwa. I'm going to close by telling you guys thank you for being here today. Every one of you panelists made a huge contribution to the show today. I want to tell Nelson thank you also for producing the show. I want to tell you, all of the callers that express your views. It is always great hearing from you. You are the Liberians that can go out and impact other Liberians about being informed and listening to Spoon to get additional information. I want to thank all of the commentators and all of the listeners and those who made comments in the comment section. A few announcements that I'd like to make. Tomorrow, we're going to have Robert F. Morris. Robert is also a presidential candidate. He is going to be here from 9 to 10 discussing his vision for Liberia as well. I also want to let you know that the CPP convention will be held this weekend in Philadelphia. Mr. Cummins, Alexander Cummins, who is the Senate bearer for the collaborating political party, and also the vice Senate bearer, Councillor Brunskin, will be here in Philadelphia. This would be a great opportunity for you to listen to their vision about Liberia and how they intend to change Liberia. Mr. Cummins and Councillor Brunskin is who I support to lead Liberia, because I know they can change the trajectory of Liberia. They have a great plan in terms of healthcare, our economy, and education, and many more. So come and hear what they have to say. I want to actually finally close by providing a tribute to a Chenoweth female. A Chenoweth female by the name of Florence Aletta Chenoweth. She took her final bow from the stage of life a couple of days ago. She was the former Minister of Agriculture and an advocate for gender equality in Liberia. It is that Chenoweth blood that you see that runs through me that keeps me going, no matter what the world or many people say. It is the Chenoweth blood that runs through me that have me coming here every day. The Chenoweth's blood and the strength of a woman, the support from my friends and family that keeps me talking. We didn't start coming here to speak for Liberia and what is in the best interest of Liberia just today. It started a long time ago. It runs through me. I want to read to you what the Daily Observer said about her, and you get a good insight into who she is as a person. It started off by saying Chenoweth career breakthrough, and when they said Chenoweth, they were talking about Florence Chenoweth. Breakthrough came in 1977 when she was appointed as Liberia's and Africa's first female Minister of Agriculture by then President William R. Tolbert Jr. The appointment was not just a historical milestone for Liberia, but for the entire continent, and it shattered gender barriers and opened doors for women to hold influential positions in a male-dominated field. Florence Chenoweth, a trailblazing Liberian woman who shattered the glass ceiling to become Africa's first female Minister of Agriculture, died recently. Chenoweth, whose legacy paved the way for future generations of women, passed away on June 26 at the age of 78, after a battle with Alzheimer's disease. Chenoweth, who fled Liberia in 1980 as a result of a military coup d'etat, was a staunch champion of gender equality in agriculture throughout her extensive career, which encompassed high-level positions at the World Bank and Food and Agriculture Organization. She became the FOA first country representative in South Africa, and in 2001, she was put in charge of FOA liaison with the United Nations in New York, a post she filled until 2017. Chenoweth was a passionate advocate for women's empowerment and for food security in Africa. The Ministry of Agriculture said in a release she was a strong believer in the power of agriculture to lift people out of poverty and build a more sustainable future. The Ministry of Agriculture misses her immense contribution to the transformation of Liberia's food security and agricultural expansion programs targeting smallholder farmers, it added. Hailing from Cape Mount, Ravensport, Grand Cape Mount County, Chenoweth was born in a fishing community where she witnessed the challenges faced by local farmers and the critical importance of sustainable food production. Driven by her desire to make a difference, she pursued her education with unwavering determination and in 1967 earned a bachelor's degree in agriculture from the University of Liberia. A few years later, in 1970, she earned a master's degree in agricultural economics from the University of Wisconsin-Madison. Her career breakthrough came in 1977 when she was appointed as Liberia's and Africa's first female Minister of Agriculture. As the Minister of Agriculture, Chenoweth implemented a wide range of innovative policies and programs aimed at improving food security and rural development. She emphasized sustainable agricultural practices, provided training and resources to small-scale farmers, and encouraged the use of modern technology in farming operations. Under Chenoweth's leadership, Liberia experienced significant advancements in the agricultural sector. She spearheaded initiatives to increase crop productivity, promote diversified farming systems, and enhance post-harvest handling and storage techniques. I will stop here, but please go to the Daily Observer if you want to hear more about her. She coined the term grow what you eat at the Ministry of Agriculture. So thank you very much. It was a great show. There was a wonderful, wonderful tribute of her accomplishments at the Ministry of Agriculture and as a Chenoweth woman. Thank you very much, guys, and my honor to Miss Florence Chenoweth. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Nelson, goodbye.
Goodbye, Dr. Richardson. Sympathy to you again.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Well, folks, with that, we want to say thanks a lot to you out there for being a part of this edition of the program Spoon Talk. Thanks for calling in. Thanks for making your contributions in the comment section. Thanks for listening to your radio, whether Spoon 107.5 or you're listening to Fabric 101.1, or maybe you are just listening to Super 95.5. Thanks a lot for sharing your time with us. The invitation is yours to join us tomorrow for another great edition of the program Spoon Talk. Talk coming up. Until that time, my name is Nelson Colette. Have for yourselves a great night. Bye-bye.